Mm.
If it,
What's good, everybody? What's good? How's everyone's day going on? Welcome back, welcome back. We're at episode 3 of Mel Shady Just4Bad Sportscast today. We are in here today. We got Lamb in here with us. We got Shady in here with us, also known as Hiatus. Go and check
Yep,
them
yep.
out. Give them a follow, guys. Say hi, give them a follow. How's everyone's day going, guys? How you guys going today, too, fellas?
I am good. It's a beautiful Tuesday. Just vibing, ready to get into some sports talk.
What
the
about
Titans
you, Lamb?
are here, baby. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Let's go.
Oh man, that's hilarious. We got a lot to talk about today, guys. Lots to talk about today. A lot of things happened over the weekend since we were last with you guys on Saturday. We had the NBA Finals here over on the weekend. The Lakers ended up taking that, like we all predicted actually here on Saturday, that the Lakers were going to win that in Game 6. Outtakes of that game. Um, Miami had a really strong first quarter. It looked like it was going to be a fairly decent game through the first quarter. It looked like Miami was going to put up a decent fight. And then all of a sudden, the Lakers just put a beat down on them, exploded to a 30-point lead, and never looked back. Um,
Facts.
it was absolutely insane. I was not expecting that for a game 6. Was not expecting that mentality. I knew they were going to be tired, but I was not expecting a 30-point explosion to come out. Like it was insane. Um, what hiatus? You're the Lakers fan in here. What'd you think of the game and the outtakes of everything, man?
Two words. Alex Caruso. I told you, let that man go to work.
He did. He was in the
Um,
starting lineup too. I give you props for that, calling that out.
Adding him into the line just brings so much energy to the Lakers, and you kind of seen it. And it's kind of hard for the other team to adjust because not only does he play defense hard, he plays offense hard.
Facts.
And unlike Markeith Morris, he can actually alley oop to LeBron. He can alley oop to the bigs down low
Or catch
because
the
he's
alley
not
oop.
short, right? Or he can try to dunk on somebody. I don't know why he would, but sometimes he gets creative.
Zero. Zero says question. How do I
Right.
play basketball?
But I mean,
You never
that
played basketball,
was
Zero? Keep going. You're good.
no, I was gonna say that was kind of like the change that I've seen, aside from the fact that this entire series, and I don't remember who it was, the sportscaster that I was listening to, made a very good point. In game one, when the Miami Heat got blowed out, they had all their
Big time.
parts.
Yes.
And they said it then. The best
Oh,
thing that could have happened to Miami is that they lost those two functional pieces because it allowed other players to step up and it made the Lakers have to adjust. Well, in this game, they had their function. Goran got to play. They had like all their pieces was there, and it was another blowout. So that kind of let you know that like the matchups, it wasn't a good matchup. What they should have stuck to was, how Miami was doing it before, having players you haven't seen before come in and do stuff that you're not expecting. Because that's going to be your best shot at trying to take this, aside from Jimmy trying to put up 60 points a game, which, I mean, we all knew that he wasn't going to be able to do that again. But you would at least given yourself another opportunity. But that was their own detriment. By them bringing all of those guys back, I kind of seen it once I seen the lineup and was like, yeah, this is going to be a blowout.
right. Big facts. I'm chatting with Zero real quick. Zero was actually saying that he can't play basketball because he has a disorder. Actually, he has a brain disorder and he doesn't know why. And I was talking
Gotcha.
with him and was asking if he could get into a wheelchair league or anything like that because a lot of people with certain disorders and other disorders play in the wheelchair leagues, and I've watched it. They actually televise it on TV. I've watched
Yeah.
it multiple times. So that's why I brought it up with them and asked them about it. So, um, big feels bad, Zero.
Yeah.
Hopefully they figure everything out regarding that and can get that situated for you. Um, they don't know exactly what it is or anything like that, but I'll chat with him going forward. But going back into the game, um, Lamb, what was your outtake on everything, man? Obviously, hiatus was the big factor. Another thing I do want to bring up with you too, hiatus. What was your outtake on Danny Green starting in that game instead of maybe like a Rajon Rondo or maybe another piece instead of a Danny Green, considering he missed his first three threes?
Yeah. Lamb said it last week. Defense. It was all about defense. Even
Right.
if Danny Green can't make a three, he can play defense. And so when you add the combination of a Danny Green and Alex Caruso, who's going to give you high minutes on defense, that's pretty much all you need. Because the facilitators of the ball, you have LeBron that's really running the point. So you don't necessarily need Rondo. You only need Rondo to come in and run point
Right.
when when LeBron needs to take a break and he needs to come out, and then you put him in with AD and let them do their thing like what they were doing when they were with New Orleans. Um, or you bring him in if you want to give LeBron a break for running the point, and then he can kind of feed off of him. So it gives you that versatility. But I wasn't shocked by it because they had to be physical. They had to be defensive minded going into this game because you cannot allow it to go to a game 7 in a game that everybody expected to be a sweep or a gentleman sweep to go to a game 7. Like you cannot. For them, this was vindication with them blowing them out. But had they gone and somehow stole that game and this went to a game 7, now you're looking at the Lakers side eye.
Yeah, that's big facts though too. I can give you that.
Well, what's your
Man,
thought, Lamb?
yeah. What's your facts?
King James. King James.
He just drops the mic.
Next
He
question.
did win.
Next question.
Next, and that is actually next question. Actually, and our next topic is MVP and King James actually getting the MVP. We were talking a little bit about this before we joined up in the podcast and everything, and I wanted to get these guys a little bit of take on everything as well, because in my personal opinion, besides Anthony Davis's bad game, obviously, where he had 5 turnovers and only scored, I think it was 10 or 15 points. I honestly thought he should have gotten MVP. He shot 60% from the field. Besides the one game, he played really consistent, and he also played hurt and still shot 60% from the field on top of that. But LeBron ended up getting it. He had the more consistent stats, as we were discussing before we ended up getting in here. LeBron with his 4th MVP, which also sparked the conversation again of GOAT conversation, and does he have enough to surpass Michael Jordan and this, that, and the other. Again, hiatus, you're the Lakers fan here, so I'm going to let you take over first on this one. We were talking a little bit about this before we hopped in and our discussion on that. What's your outtake on LeBron getting MVP and also re-sparking the GOAT conversations with MJ as well?
I think it was well deserved. I mean, the way that he played in these playoffs, he definitely gave his team, you know, energy. And there were games that LeBron was doing too much, which that does happen, especially in these finals. But he was consistent. If you look at his numbers, it was very consistent. He didn't really, even if he had turnovers, his point consistency and what he gave to the game was there. With AD, I think it kind of came down to the fact of him having that bad game that kind of like they were neck and neck, and that kind of gave LeBron the edge. My issue personally, when it comes to AD, as to why I wouldn't give AD the Finals MVP, Nobody on the Miami Heat was over 6'9".
Facts. Bam
Somebody has to
Adebayo is their
explain.
tallest guy on the team, unless Kelly
Somebody has
Olynyk
to
comes in.
explain. Somebody has to explain why he wasn't leading on rebounds.
Yeah, right. Facts. That's
Why
facts.
does Jimmy Butler have more rebounds than you?
Speak on it, son. Speak on it.
So you can't be a generational talent that is primarily about your scoring, your rebounding, your defense, and you're getting out rebound by a person that we don't even consider an all-star. We don't even
Yeah.
consider him an all-star. And so this kind of goes back to, if you remember the game that the Clippers and the Lakers had. This was one of their early games when they lost, and it came down to a Pat Beverly defensive rebound.
I
These
remember
are the
that game.
things that make us go, come on, bro. Like, you're 6 foot, 7 foot. Like, how are you allowing this person to get the rebound?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you're trash. Because you're trash.
We
Hey,
forgot to add that
on.
counter in the
Oh,
chat
my
into the
mama.
top of the screen for this one, chat.
Oh my mama, I am 6'4",
what?
209 pounds. Nobody who is 5'9" will ever get a rebound over me if I'm trying. Ever.
So, like, all right. So, great point that Lamb puts up. Now, I'm 5'4".
If I'm trying.
So imagine me and Lamb on the basketball court, and I have 15 rebounds and Lamb has 6.
Yep, I'm trash.
You'll say, what is going on? How in the world
I'm
is this
trash.
happening? Like, and that was my mentality through this entire playoffs. I'm like, how is he getting out rebounded? Like,
Yep.
I'm not understanding it.
The entire series.
It's not making sense that he keeps getting out rebound. You're too big. You're too tall. You're too athletic for this to be a thing.
Yep.
And I mean, and it's not even that, because there were a couple times that Anthony Davis got blocked.
Yeah.
By players that you wouldn't even think he would get blocked by. And it was like, what? Are you serious?
Yeah.
He blocked you?
I want to say 95% right. Tyler Hero is one of those people.
Right. Yeah, this is my point. It's like, so when you add all these factors in, these are things that you didn't see with LeBron. Like, when LeBron wanted to take over the game, he pushed everybody out of the way.
Yep.
Right.
Big body.
Straight
He
to
was
the
going
rack.
to the line.
Exactly.
Got fouled hard.
Yep.
It was never a question of, dang, they're just running over LeBron. Even in the game that that Butler scored 40 and 35, like, it always came down to, like, them going possession for possession.
Right. It was
LeBron
wire
versus
to wire
him.
that game.
And we have to remember, it's not just LeBron. Yes, LeBron is an elite talent, but you got AD, who's supposed to be the guy that takes over once LeBron starts to decline.
And it's supposed to take off that pressure off of you as well.
Right.
If
And it's
Anthony
like,
Davis
where are
was
you?
ever that guy, he would not have to join up with LeBron. I'm just saying. That's just me. The same thing about same thing about Paul George. Paul George, if you're that guy, you never have to go join Russell Westbrook.
I mean, that's kind of a loaded thing, because that kind of gets back into what we were talking about, owners versus players.
Right.
A lot of players like to join up and play with each other, and it's frowned upon. But if they got drafted, or if the owner traded for them, it's like, great job to the owner, but, like, because the player made the choice to do it, it's kind of frowned upon. But if LeBron doesn't go to Miami, we do not get GOAT James.
Right.
He becomes stuck in Cavaliers culture as the not chosen one.
And that also comes into play, too, of how everything's played out. And if you look pretty much in the last 10 years almost, on how much communication has gone between players talking back and forth between one another. All-star games, off-seasons, end of playoffs at the end of games, during the Eastern Conference Finals or Western Conference Finals. You always see those quiet conversations and people covering their mouths to talk to people. And you always know that something's always being worked out. Like, I stated this today, actually, at work with one of my friends. Last year when Anthony Davis and LeBron were talking during the All-Star game, and they were all talking and whispering back and forth to each other. You already knew they were talking about getting together and doing this, that, and the other in the off season,
Right.
and already doing that. Like, it's pretty much what the league is almost worked up to now. Is
Trash.
you can consider it tampering, and they can find all they want to, but little do they know, there's always that communication going on, and there's always people talking back and forth with one another. And eventually, in my opinion, the tampering fines are probably going to go away because they can't control most of it anymore because of stars wanting to leave certain teams
not to talk.
and not to talk to their friends.
Yeah, what are they
going
gonna
to
do?
join
Confiscate
up
their cell phones? Give me your cell phone.
exactly.
Lakers.
They're
All
not
Lakers
going to sit
turn
here
into
and monitor their chats the
Exactly.
entire time and basically be a mod in chat or a nightbot. You know what I mean?
But see, this is the thing that I especially when it comes to like the sports analysis and when they talk about like LeBron. This is what I dislike about that conversation. They always allude to the fact of him going down and him joining Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, and oh, he created a super team. It
he
wasn't a
didn't
super
create
team.
that.
It wasn't a super team. When you look at the way that they played, Chris Bosh
They lost
became a
too many to
role
be a-
player. He became a role player. He was
Right.
not the Chris Bosh
It was
that was
not the
that
same
played
player.
on Toronto.
No.
Dwayne Wade started to diminish.
When we
Now,
saw
there was a
Chris
lot of-
Bosh in Toronto, that dude, everything up there.
Exactly.
He was shooting threes. He was going to the bucket. He was
So was
dunking
Kevin
on
Love until
everybody.
he joined LeBron.
Facts.
So was Kevin Love until he
Exactly.
joined LeBron.
Yep.
So when you look at it, yes, it looks like they're a super team, but they weren't. They just played within the system of Miami, and so they played hard. They got role players around them,
And
and
that
they
came
were able to move around. But you at the same time, you had the freaking Celtics, who had Paul Pierce, Ray
That's a super
Allen,
team. That's a super
Rondo.
team.
Super
Like,
team. Big
It's like
three
what
at
are
the
you
time.
what are you
Paul
talking
Pierce.
about?
Yeah,
Like
that
what
was
are you talking about when you're complaining about LeBron, who hadn't at that time really taken that step, which is the reason why they lost to the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, got
Like, he
spanked
hadn't
in that
taken-
series.
Right, like he hadn't taken that step into who he would be, and he was only there for 4 years,
Yep.
and then he came back to Cleveland. Cleveland already had Kyrie,
Yeah.
and he
3
just
draft
asked
picks.
for Kevin Love.
Yep.
Now, what was Kevin Love at the time? He
A
was the best
dominant
player
scorer.
he was best player on a trash team.
Yes.
He
He was
was second
It's
basically
best
easy
big man
to
in the
look like
West.
an
he
all-star.
was basically the
Big
new
man.
Kevin Garnett for the Minnesota Timberwolves at the
Right,
time.
like you got the coach talking about y'all gonna see how much of a defensive liability he is once y'all get him. Like, so when you look at it, and then he comes to the team, he's having mental breakdowns and all types of stuff, but LeBron is still dragging them to finals after finals after finals. And then now you look at where he is now with the Lakers, and you have one more star, which is AD. Like, super teams were what was created when KD decided that he was going to go and join the team that he was up 3-1 to.
Right.
Yeah.
like that's a super team when your first five, when you call out your first five and all of them are all stars, that's a super team.
Facts.
When you look back at Michael Jordan's Bulls, that was a freaking super team.
Super
It just was that there was so much talent
A lot
spread
of
out in the
talent.
league
And
that
even on
nobody
their
looked
bench.
down on it.
Exactly. There was multiple teams that could have been considered a super team if you wanted to
Right.
consider them, or a big three, even if that, not even a super team. But just because of that day and age, and there were so many good players in the league, and it was so spread out, it wasn't considered or frowned upon at that time.
Exactly.
Well,
Because if you take the Bulls and you put them in today's era, that's a super team.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
but
the
they
same-
they
that's
didn't
the-
trade for the majority of their players though. There's
no,
a difference.
it was a different
big-
era at that time.
Yeah, well, there's a difference in big three and super team, right? San Antonio, we drafted our players. We drafted Tim Duncan. We drafted David Robinson.
Right.
We drafted Tony Parker. Like, we didn't say, hey, Kevin Garnett, come from Minnesota over to San Antonio and play with Tim Duncan. You know what I mean?
Right.
We didn't say, oh, hey, Kobe Bryant, come over here and play with Tim Duncan. Y'all could really run the league. Or, hey, Shaquille O'Neal or whatever.
And initially, that's when they actually started considering super teams again and big three, this, that, and the other,
So
is
then,
when Garnett and Allen went to Boston, and that is when it all sparked up again, unfortunately.
And this
So
is why I
let me ask
despise
the
the way the
question.
competition is in the NBA now. Because back then, let's say late 80s, early 90s NBA, let's take a moment to remember what that was. That was like playing ball in the hood, okay? That's like Rucker
Facts.
Park, New York,
Yes.
elbows, forearms, knees to the groin, everything. And those guys hated each other.
Do you guys
Charles
remember
Barkley,
the video of
bro.
Durant going off in Rucker Park for 60 points?
Charles Barkley would never be caught dead mouthing to Karl Malone about joining the same team in the offseason. All right. Reggie Miller was not texting or AOL messaging Michael Jordan, hey,
Right.
let's practice and think about going to Minnesota to join up with Kevin Garnett in the offseason. They hated each other. They were competitors. The competition was so thick, everybody wanted to be the best.
Right, and
The NBA
when they
is
lost
not
in
like
that
that.
certain season or the previous season, you didn't see a bunch of trades going this way or the other way.
Nope.
It fueled the energy in that rivalry for the next matchup for the next season,
and
it
it
got
made it
even
great.
better. Yeah, exactly.
It made it great. Do y'all remember post-game interviews from the 90s NBA where they would talk about meet me in the parking lot, I got a shotgun? Like, they were at war.
Yep.
Bro.
It was bad.
This is
back
true,
then.
but that's what I'm saying. This is the difference between the owner's ability to build teams and players. So they never really had that opportunity back in that era for players to make their decision as to who they wanted to play for. That was solely up to the owners.
And
you
it
know,
was
if they
powerful ownership.
you know,
back
so right. So it was all about, if you come to this team, you about this team. You don't
And
leave this team.
It was even
And
worse
so-
looked at then than it is now, because they gave the players no credit back then whatsoever. It was literally the owner created that team, and that was how it was looked at. And it's changed completely nowadays. You could almost consider the players created that team instead of the owners nowadays, almost, just because of everything and how it's changed in the communication and the players'
But
ability to leave their teams and opt out and not want to
I just say that we can't say that if they had the opportunity that they wouldn't do it. It's just like, I could say a lot of stuff that I would do if I won $1 million, but it's completely different once that money is in my hand. So yeah, we could
Facts.
say, yeah, there were rivalries. Yes, because that was the mentality. You didn't have the choice. But had they had the choice, could we have seen a linking up of certain players because they wanted to take down the Bulls and they were tired of losing? Could Charles Barkley have gone to another team that would have given him an opportunity to take out the Bulls and get him a ring? Yes, because they want a ring. Like, we can't say that it wouldn't happen.
I don't think we would have seen that. I don't think we would have ever seen that happen. Because they're egos,
we could
bro.
Say we don't.
Did you remember Charles Barkley back then? He thought he was the greatest player.
I still think he does. When you watch him on TNT with Ernie and Shaq and all of them, he still talks that smack.
Barkley,
I
he's
remember.
looking up and down. He's so good. And I'm like, bro, Shaq keeps looking down at you his whole
Right.
life, bro.
Shaq always gives him that look
Shaq
from
was like,
across the
"Come on,
table,
bro."
too, like, really, man? Come on, bro. Like, you're really going to bring that up again.
So they put out a meme recently once LeBron won his 4, and they said LeBron, Shaq, and Charles Barkley collectively have won 8 championships, and they put the 4 under LeBron and the 4 under Shaq, and the donut.
Oh,
I remember that.
Man,
I remember that.
Poor Charles.
You know, but what I'm saying is, like you said, that competitive fervor that's there. if they had the opportunity, I just would say I can't say that maybe not Charles, but I can't say that a Patrick Ewing wouldn't say, you know what, I'm leaving New York. I'm gonna go and get on a
Right.
team that's gonna give me an opportunity.
Ugh.
So they didn't have they didn't
Patrick
have
Ewing.
those chances. I know, but that man he had that sweet shot. Whew,
Man,
he
he
had that
did.
sweet
He did.
spot.
He did.
um so that's why I say, when with certain things that we've seen, it's like we don't look down on Shaq because he went to the Lakers and joined with Kobe
I
and
do.
won chips.
I do. I look
You
down on
do,
both of them
but
for that.
nobody talks about it like they talk about
No,
LeBron.
they really
I
don't.
look down on Dwayne Wade for doing the same thing with
They,
Shaquille
like
O'Neal.
they don't. And Shaq has been in so many different locker rooms over
Yeah,
his
So many
career.
locker rooms.
bro.
After
Cleveland,
he left the
Boston,
Lakers, he went to
Miami,
the Suns,
Orlando.
Lakers, Cleveland, Boston,
Golly.
Miami. He
So,
started in
you
Orlando.
know,
Hobby Middle School, Rudder Middle School.
Like he was
exactly.
all over the
But when
league
they
after he
but
left
when they
those two
talk
teams.
to when they talk to Shaq, what did they say? Let's talk about these championships you got. Let's talk about these rings that you won. Let's talk about how dominant you are. They don't
Right.
even
Big
look at
facts.
that. But when it comes to LeBron, it's like, oh, he just build super teams in order for him to win. What? Like I get their perspective, because again, this is the whole player versus owner. So I get where they're coming from, but at the same time, bro, if you have 1 to 2 star, like that's not it. Look, when LeBron was in Miami, and it was proven because 2 times out of the times that they were there, including two from your San Antonio Spurs, they could have only won 1 time while they were all together. They were not an invincible team. They were not what Golden State turned out to be.
Yeah, that's
And again, I can't knock Golden State because the only thing that changed with Golden State is that KD decided to go to
Facts.
Golden State.
They were originally
They were
basically
already
a
a really
drafted
good
team and
team.
an original
Right.
team. Yeah.
They were already a good team, but then they became a super, like, overpowered freaking
Overpowered.
East All Star type, West All Star type team once they got him, and then they signed. He didn't play, but on paper, then you got DeMarcus Cousins that came in for 1 year. So
Could
you
you
were
have,
looking at
man?
like 5 All Stars starting.
Could you
Like,
imagine if he actually started that year and was healthy? On how different and everything and the outcome and everything.
it would have been ridiculous. Like, those are the things that I'm talking about. But we don't. But in those cases, if you take KD out, and they were just able to get DeMarcus Cousins, they never got KD. Nobody would bat an eye at Golden State because of the fact that owners drafted them. This is how they
Right.
came in. We didn't, they didn't play with anybody else. But it's still a super team. Like that's the talent that's on this team is absolutely crazy, matched to the other talent that are on other teams. And so that's what kind of leads to the things that LeBron did. It wasn't that LeBron didn't want to stay with Cleveland. He was in Cleveland for 7+ years, dragged them to multiple championships, got his butt whooped every single time. He tried with freaking Delonte West and
Oh
Mo Williams
man,
and
yeah.
Varejao
No
and
skill
old
players.
Shaq.
it
No skill
felt
players.
so bad.
Mark
you
Jackson
know,
built that Golden State Warriors team. They drafted skill players for each role, for defense,
Man,
for jump shots,
right?
just a damn thug in the middle. Like
yeah,
he
right.
drafted for every single position. The
I
reason why
agree.
LeBron could never do anything is because it's just an athlete. The same thing why
Yeah,
the Thunder had James Harden, Russell, and KD. 3 athletes. They're not skill players. They
No
don't each have
man.
a role, so they fought over the
Well,
same role. They fought over the same role, and it didn't work.
well,
That's what
I
happened.
will tell you the reason why they lost. The reason that OKC lost was that was all on Westbrook.
Yeah,
Westbrook had mental breakdowns at the end of those games that
I
ended
think it
up
was Durant.
costing them 4-2.
I
Do
blame
you
Durant more than
do you
anything.
remember when they? I think it was like how many seconds were on the clock? Like 10 seconds or something that was on
it
the
was
clock. The
roughly
ball
about
was
that.
inbounded with Westbrook, and he just I don't even know what he was thinking. Like it was a game that was winnable, and then he just literally just threw it away. Like
Yeah,
it was stuff
I
that he would
threw it away.
do.
Threw it away.
Right, like it was stuff that he would do, and you go, bro,
Kind of
y'all
like
could have
how
won.
Morris
Like, what are
threw it
you
away at the
doing?
game game
Exactly,
5.
and
Like threw it
you're
away.
what? Like,
Like
and
mind
so
blowing. Like what were you just thinking?
exactly, and it wasn't that because KD played his butt off during those playoffs.
No, KD always plays his butt off, but pull the tampon out of your purse and be a leader. Please be the male alpha leader
He
of
did need to be the
team,
Oh,
leader in that
KD.
series,
listen,
though. He really
listen,
did.
Ah,
He let
listen, Lamb.
Westbrook get into his shit, and he really shouldn't have.
Listen,
KD, someone should have stepped in and
you ain't gonna do
said
KD
something
like
to one
that
of
just
them.
because he went and cried on his mama's shoulder after he lost. You is not gonna do that man like that.
he gonna cry at the car.
Oh, that's too funny.
Oh my
It's just a
gosh.
shame that, in my opinion, the second best basketball player in the world, Kevin Durant, okay, the second best basketball player in the world has to join Klay Thompson and Steph Curry to win a
I
championship.
agree.
That
That's-
comes in
I
with
agree.
the Stephen A. Smith faces.
I agree because I mean, come on, there like for that, there's no reason for that. Like that's the thing that we were talking about because again they tried to use the LeBron aspect of it and say, oh well, because he did that, this is why this came to be. It's not the same thing. We didn't, even though you can put, because we've seen it when the Lakers put together that ragtag team of all stars and it fell apart and it was horrible and
Yep.
it was trash, but on paper it looked
It
like it
was
was
so
going to be
good.
something epic.
Like, easy
So you
number
don't-
1, number 2 in the West.
Exactly. So you don't know what you're going to get once they play. But that team was already established. And then on top of that, you got mad because they didn't recognize you. They already won chips before you got there. They didn't
Yeah.
need you to
Yep.
win chips.
You needed
You
them.
needed them.
You needed
You
me.
know? So again, it goes back to that. Like, and then like now with him going to Brooklyn and him being with another superstar that's mentally unstable in Kyrie Irving. I don't know
Nah.
what that locker room is gonna look like, but good luck.
I'm waiting for the first bad game where they get smashed to see
Good
what the
luck.
outcome of that locker room is going to be like.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the first time that publicly, it's not going to happen
Thank
for a
you,
while,
Matt.
but that publicly, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are going to be jawing at each other.
Yes, they
That's
will be.
what I'm going to be waiting for. We know
they
they're going to
will
do it
be.
in the locker room, but we'll almost never hear about it, right?
We'll
But
see it on the
it's-
bench.
It's yeah, exactly.
We will see it on the
lead
bench.
out onto the court.
And Kyrie's going to
It's-
start it, too.
Of course. I mean,
Remember-
it's just
KD be acting like he don't want the
he
salt.
do, man.
He don't want the
He
smoke.
do.
He be acting like he wants the
Man.
smoke, but
Sitting
was
there
like, is
creating
he
burner
doing
accounts so
all
he can
right?
talk crazy online.
You-
Like, what's wrong with you, bro? What is
I ain't
wrong
got
with
that
you?
kind of time in my
Hey.
life.
we all
Seriously.
have mental illness, but KD's is on another level, bro. On another level. Imagine
Oh.
15 burner Twitter accounts to
Man.
defend the real Kevin Durant.
Yes. That's
Feels
crazy.
bad, man. Feels
That
bad.
does feel bad.
Bro, I thought only like obese, insecure women were like that, self-loathing to where they needed to do that. That's been my experience in life. You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
Oh,
The
bro.
girl who
man.
gets
No,
cheated
it's
on
just
repeatedly, or the single mom, or someone. But you're a millionaire superstar. Not even just a millionaire athlete. Everyone in the league is almost a millionaire athlete, right? You're
Yeah.
a millionaire superstar, bro. What do you want social media for? What, dude? If I was a millionaire,
Listen,
I'm barely on
Everyone's
Twitter
on
as it
social
is.
media.
that
Bro,
that
but if
man
I'm-
don't
I'm
that man
barely
don't
on
even
Twitter as it
comb
is.
his hair. He don't
If
even
I'm
brush
a-
his hair.
Right?
What you
If
talking
I'm a
about?
millionaire superstar,
Speaking
bro,
of combing hair, you
I don't
wonder if
give
Jimmy
a
Butler got a
crap
haircut
about
yet?
Twitter, bro.
Probably
What?
not. Probably not. Jimmy Butler is back in the gym. And I seen that what was that earlier today?
Yeah, he
Jimmy
is.
Butler is back in the gym. Working
Already
out, ready
grinding.
for the next season.
Yep.
Ready to
2 months
get
before the next season starts, guys.
Yeah,
We
he's
got the
already
draft
ready.
coming up at the middle of November,
that.
and free agency is
You
actually no,
wouldn't be
sorry,
creating
vice
burner accounts
versa.
to talk good about veteran Guardian, though. You
Free
wouldn't be
agency
doing
is in
that.
November,
I'm just not big on
and
social
the
media,
draft is in December, and then
like at
the
all.
season starts in January.
Gotcha. No, Lamb. I mean, it. That part about it is very true about him being mentally like. You don't
He's
really
got some
see
loose
that in
pieces.
yeah. You don't
He
really
does,
see
bro.
that in superstars where they're concerned about what the layman has to say about them. Because it's
Right.
like I play basketball. You don't. Like if I showed up at your house and was like 1v1 me, like what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
Like I would
right.
ball you up. Like so it's
I'm gonna
interesting
lace
when
up
you
the
get
sneaks.
a person that kind of like embraces that and like wants to jaw back with just regular people.
Yeah. But
But
see, it's
you
not
can't.
even regular people. Like he should be smart enough to realize that the narrative from sports that most regular people have comes from vets emotes, comes from Stephen A. Smith, comes from Max Kellerman, comes from Skip Bayless. It comes from those people. People usually just regurgitate whatever nonsense they hear on ESPN, whatever
Right.
True.
nonsense they hear on Fox Sports 1 without ever watching full games.
Yep.
This is
You know what I
true.
mean? Paying attention to what their college career was like. Paying attention to that he was an All-American and he spent
Yep.
1 year in Texas and he came, you know what I mean? Like people,
Right.
they don't follow his whole career.
No.
They don't know everything this kid's been through. They just regurgitate whatever Stephen A. Smith screams at them, whatever Max Kellerman disagrees with them, whatever Skip and Shannon all say. But Kevin Durant is a deeply disturbed individual. Okay, like I respect DeMar DeRozan and for Kevin Love talking about their mental issues, but if
True.
we look at everything, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant have big mental problems, and they
They
just got
do.
teamed together in
Oh,
the same season.
Kyrie's
They
got
do.
huge
Oh my
problems.
gosh, bro!
They do. They do. And that's why I
Stephen
said
A does have bad takes,
everybody
but he is
keeps
hilarious.
everybody keeps looking at, them as their talent, but there's more than just the talent because the locker room plays a big factor. One
Big
of the reasons
factor.
that he said that he left was because of the spat that he got into with Draymond Green and some of the stuff that he
Yep.
said. Also, things that were being said with leadership and ownership within
Oh,
Golden State.
Durant, you got your feelings hurt because
Right.
Draymond said we didn't need you,
Right.
Yeah,
you needed us because he told you the truth. He's not one of your lackeys. He's not one of
that's
your
true.
so-called friends who needs your paycheck, bro. He's not a yes man. He's
Yep.
not Smithers to your Mr. Burns. And he said, we don't need you, bro. We was a dynasty over here before you came here. That's why I didn't go visit you. They sent Steph because I never
They
liked
gave
you,
him an
bro. Like, let's
opportunity
be real.
generously.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. So now
We gave you the job.
when you take that mentality, how he is, how you see him act with Golden State,
Yeah,
which
that'll
is
break
an
him down.
organization that is highly reputable. It's just like San Antonio.
Been that way too.
And then you add in Kyrie Irving, who basically almost broke up the entire Boston Celtics locker room.
I was so
he,
mad at
like
him.
he almost turned the entire organization upside down just by himself. And then you take him and you put both of these toxic people on the same team, and they're like, yeah, they'll probably give a run deep. Yeah, right. If they don't kill each other, yeah, right. Okay, let's see.
Maybe they'll both be crazy together and like they'll have like a crazy bond. Like Bray
What, they'll
Wyatt, the
be
Fiend, and Alexa Bliss in the WWE. They both crazy together now. Like maybe
what?
that'll happen.
So they'll have like blood brother packs and stuff.
Yeah, they'll both poke their thumbs and mush them together before every game. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can
Oh
sit with them,
gosh,
but they'll dominate. Maybe. The
that
East ain't that strong anyway, so they should
No,
definitely make
the
it to the
East
playoffs.
has, as of right now, 3 good teams, in my opinion, and that's about it. Well, actually, no, you could say 4. 4. Sorry, 4. You got Miami.
I'm sorry, who's the 3?
No, you got 4. Because as of
Oh,
right
okay.
now, as long as Giannis stays in Milwaukee, you have Milwaukee, you have Boston, you have Miami, and you still have Toronto.
So Milwaukee's good because they had the MVP, and that's it.
They were the number 1 seed and had the most wins in the
Listen,
NBA this
they
year.
had the most
Okay. And
wins. I
so and
mean,
so and so Miami's good too, because I see a lot of teams that are just the best of a COVID worst situation, and they're gonna have to do what the Spurs had to do.
oh,
Me here in San Antonio, no, let me finish. Check it out. Me here in
Go
I
San
ahead.
gotta hear what
Antonio,
Hiatus
you,
has to say.
you know what I had to deal with when the Spurs won the NBA lockout championship, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's a short season. You're trash." And we had to come back and dominate year after year after year after year after championship after championship. No super teams after championship. No super teams after championship to prove that we belong here. That championship was not gifted to us like Drew Brees had his gifted to him after Hurricane Katrina. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna tell it like it is. San
all
Antonio,
right.
we didn't just keep that one that was a short season. So to me, when I look at Miami, I'm like, Kevin Durant wasn't in the league. Kevin Durant changes everything. I know he
Hey,
had to
Lamb,
join
look at
Golden
chat.
State
Look at
for a
chat real
championship,
quick.
but Kevin Durant changes everything. Giannis, what a good player. So was Blake Griffin. Okay? So is Zion Williams. He's going to be the exact same thing. Going to win an MVP just like I believe Blake Griffin has to, just like Giannis has. Going to have great stats, Hall of Fame stats, points and rebounds and slam dunks or whatever. But that doesn't make your team good. Kevin Durant changes everything. So I think the best overall team in the East right now that I've seen with my eyes, there's two: Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers.
All right. So let me go ahead
That's
and
interesting.
deflate Lamb's chest real quick because he said no super team, and I need him to refute that
For San
because
Antonio.
for
For the
San
Spurs.
Antonio has the best coach. Even we say Pop is better
Pop is amazing.
than
I've always
you know
been a
who I'm
fan of
talking
Pop.
about,
Phil
Phil
Jackson.
Jackson. We say that he's better than Phil Jackson. You had when Tim Duncan came into the league, he was granted his leadership from Duncan Robinson before he left out, and then
Facts.
y'all got Ginobili, y'all got
Correct.
Tony Parker,
Not from
y'all got.
other NBA teams.
I
Correct. Keep
No, it
going.
was all
understand
drafted.
that.
It was
I
all drafted.
understand that.
Mm-hmm.
What when you say super team doesn't necessarily mean that somebody else went. Y'all had a squad.
No.
Even
Super
even
team. The definition of super team is gathering superstars from other teams. Big three is different, in my opinion, than super teams. When I hear super team, it means
all I
Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett got together with Ray Allen and like that's what I hear super team. Oh, Shaquille O'Neal went down to play with Kobe Bryant. That's what I hear super team, not
okay.
the Golden State Warriors drafted Steph Curry, drafted Klay Thompson,
I
drafted
don't.
Draymond Green. That's not
So
super.
for me, I don't agree with that terminology because I mean a team with super talent is still a super team,
Right.
regardless of whether you drafted them or whether they joined up together.
Then let's say
And so when
no mega
so
trades.
so
No mega
when
trades.
you look at what you guys went out and got to contend with Miami, when y'all blew them off the floor, when y'all were hitting threes like the Houston Rockets that season, and like Danny Green for some odd reason could
Man,
actually hit
it
shots,
wasn't
like
missing
it
anything.
was freaking ridiculous. Defensive, offensive, with the veteran squads that team had, with the coaching on top of that, no team stood a chance. And that has been like, if you notice with San Antonio, the only reason that San Antonio has kind of gone down or kind of gone back from where they are is because those players are no longer in the league. When
Correct.
y'all had Tony, when y'all had Ginobili, when y'all had Tim Duncan, it didn't matter what pieces you added. Those functional pieces, because of how they played, because of how they were coached, were unfreaking matched. The talent, the ability, what they added, all y'all needed was role players. Just go out there and shoot.
Yep, that's all we needed. We didn't have any freak
So,
athletes. We didn't have any Russell
like,
Westbrooks or any freaking LeBron Jameses who could just yam all over everyone every time. We didn't have Blake Griffins.
yeah,
We
but
didn't
you
have
had
any of
Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan would
Oh yeah,
block your shot and dunk on you.
dude, Tim
You
Duncan,
had
smartest
Tim.
basketball IQ in the league.
You
Smartest
had Tony
basketball IQ.
Parker, who was the epitome of what a floater should be.
Yeah,
Like,
He was the fastest
Oh
player in the league at
man,
one point.
Tony
Like-
Fastest
Tony
point guard in the
Parker's
league.
floater was such a
was
beautiful thing to watch.
ridiculous. Right.
Such a
And then you
beautiful
had
thing to watch
Ginobili,
with either
who could
hand
hit
too.
shots and like, bro. So what I'm saying is, when I look at super teams, I look at the totality of the team and the talent. That y'all have had some super teams that have been made in San Antonio, and that's why San Antonio is one of those
Yep.
organizations that is respected, and which is the reason why they
The
got rid of
most
Kawhi
dominant
as
team
quickly
between
as they could
2000
get,
and
sent
2010.
him to another country because
Yeah,
because of his toxicity.
yeah.
But
for real.
I mean,
Pop was
it is
like,
what it
you know
is.
what? Pop was like, "You're from California, right? Take your butt to Canada."
Exactly.
I'm gonna
You
send
know,
you
so-
to the opposite country and opposite climate. That's funny.
So these are things that we've seen in regards to these teams, and that's why I'm saying, like, there's a lot of, I know that people don't like to think of the owners because, oh well, they did it the right way, but a super team is a super team. Like the Bulls was a super team. the
Big
the
facts.
Celtics was a super team.
Oh, the
Like,
Celtics in the
these were-
80s were mad super
the
team.
the Lakers when they had Shaquille O'Neal, Robert Ory, and all, like, super team, like
Robert
like
Horry,
these-
Derek
these-
Fisher,
like,
Kobe.
these are super teams. These are not your run of the mill role player teams. Like, these are teams that would run over people. And then you look at teams like Milwaukee.
The Spurs, we weren't really running over people. A lot of our wins were, comebacks in the fourth quarter. The Golden State Warriors are smashing people by 35, 45 points.
Yeah.
Like the Bulls were doing that. Like Spurs, we ain't never done that, bro. We ain't never been smashing out teams, even with
Listen,
Manu, Tony
listen.
Parker. And
Let me
not by no-
let me
not like
just
that,
stop
bro.
you right there,
Not
because
like that,
when
bro.
y'all played Miami in the playoffs, they literally
Throttled
quit
them.
because you ran them off the court.
You
I
throttled
watched
them.
every game.
Yeah,
I
that's.
yelled at the TV because I couldn't
Yeah,
believe
I'm
the
not
amount
saying
of
it
points that
never
were being
happened,
put
bro.
up.
I'm not saying
Man.
it never happened, but Golden State was doing that to every.
Wasn't one game almost 140
true.
points?
This is true.
It was like
Golden State
140
was like,
to
y'all wanna run a-
it was like
Golden State was like, hey,
138 to
well,
Y'all
I
want to
mean-
run a scrimmage?
I mean,
Y'all
this
want to run a
is different.
scrimmage?
This is different.
172 to
So-
86? What?
So
Bet.
San Antonio plays an old school style of basketball. They're very fundamental.
old school. Yep.
Golden State, because of their shooters, you literally have to guard them from the half court.
And
That's
you're
why teams
constantly
were
moving.
that's why teams are getting beat, because it's like, okay, I literally, you know how when you play NBA 2K and it's like, I cross you over and all I need is just that little window
Man.
to get the shot off. That's how
Oh.
they played. They were like a freaking arcade team.
Literally.
Yeah, he's on
Just
fire.
give them
the
a
whole
just
squad.
exactly. Just give them a little break and 3. So yes, 3 points is more than 2. So what happened with the Golden State era is it broke out traditional big men. So they got phased out. So that's why people like LaMarcus, that you don't like, got
Hate him.
phased out because he can't shoot a 3. So
can't.
all he can do is play down low.
Yep.
And
He's
now
an
in
old
this
school
league,
big man.
because centers can now shoot 3s,
It's the same way with Steven
what
Adams.
good are you?
No, see, I
Because-
don't even want my centers to shoot a 3. Play
Bro.
like a big man, okay?
Bro.
I just don't like LaMarcus Aldridge.
Bro.
He doesn't have passion,
That-
bro. I need
that's
to
not-
see you screaming. Pull a Des Bryant on the sideline. Show me that you want to win.
Listen,
Pull a Odell
that ain't
Beckham.
gonna-
Slam
that's
your
not
helmet
gonna
down.
win.
Show me
That's
some
not
passion.
gonna win in these
But show me that you
playoffs,
care,
these
bro.
games.
You don't
That's
care.
not gonna win.
You
That
don't
center,
care, bro.
that center has to be a Divock. He need to get his butt inside and bang bodies and then
Yup.
run his behind out there and knock a 3 down. That does not work in today's basketball.
Bro,
They-
I don't.
it
believe-
doesn't.
I
It
don't.
doesn't.
Look at Steven Adams in OKC.
Where's OKC's
I'm trying to
championship?
tell you.
Where's OKC's championship?
They haven't got one. That's what I'm saying. Look at Steven Adams in OKC. They can't do anything with the big man down there. It's in
Yeah,
a
but
different game, established
all
game.
they
You have to
got
have
is-
a big man that's got to be able to shoot.
No,
So
you
this is-
have to have skill players. You need your shooters. You need your jump shooters. All right. You need at least 2 of them on your team. but you need your rebounders and your defenders more than anybody. More than anybody. More than a three-point shooter, you have to have people who make other people adjust their shot.
Golden
And you
State
cannot do that
said
against
that
Golden State.
that's a lie.
Nope. Well, Golden State can say that because you can't do that against Golden State. Steph Curry will come down just for fun and hit half-court three-pointers in your face in
Milwaukee
the game.
Milwaukee says that's a lie.
How many rings does Milwaukee have?
I'm just saying they play how you're talking. They play how
do.
you're talking.
They do.
With what? What defenders do they have that can stop? That can make people adjust their shots? Because if they had those people, they would be in the finals. But they don't.
They don't because they can't on offense. All they can do is play inside. They don't. Their biggest threat. All he can do is Euro step to a dunk.
Literally.
Yep. And yet, I was the one who 15 minutes ago said the Bucks are not good because all they have is Giannis.
But that's how you wanted them to play, though.
No, Lucy. No.
Oh man, Giannis is a wall, nothing more.
That's it.
my gosh.
Before we hit our next topic, chat, there's one thing I do want y'all to go check out. I had Hiatus go check this out before we started stream.
Gotta love
trending.
Leo.
It's trending all over the place right now. Ven, I'm
They're
pretty
trash,
sure
bro.
you've probably seen it as well. But Quinn Cook ended up missing the bus after the finals game and was left at the arena. And J.R. Smith ended up starting a live stream on Facebook. Quinn Cook ended up joining that live stream and was like, "Hey man, when you gotta walk home after you win an effing ring." And then later on in chat, he's like, "Hey, y'all need to pull a U-turn and come and get me. I'm still at the arena."
Yeah.
Listen, the fact that's not even the worst part.
It's not the worst part of it. When
The
you
worst
watch the
part-
full video, I'll let Hiatus explain it because he just literally watched the whole video.
The worst part of that video was the fact that Dion Waiters, with a straight face, looked at your boy and said, "QC is gonna have to fly." Excuse me? I'm gonna have to what? If y'all don't turn that bus around and come get me?
Man, feels
That
bad.
chat was hilarious, guys. You need to go check
my
out that
God.
video.
Y'all gotta
It's
check
trending
it out.
all over the place right now.
Oh
Go
my
check out that
gosh.
video. It's
Oh,
absolutely hilarious. It's too funny.
They got the memes of Quinn Cook running after the bus.
Quinn Cook
Like,
is
that-
a meme
man,
right
it's-
now.
Oh my gosh, it's so bad.
There's
It
a
is so
meme of
bad.
Quinn Cook saying he's still at the arena, just dancing up and down like this in the arena.
My question is, don't they do okay, so when we were talking about the bubble and how they were talking about how, they check in with everything, how everything's so organized, how is it possible for y'all not to know that Quinn Cook isn't on the bus before y'all post?
Facts. Literally.
How is that possible?
Bro, because
Did
their eyes
somebody
are
on the
burning with
bus?
champagne, bro.
They already half
Did
in the
somebody-
bag.
No. I got questions, bro. Did somebody on the bus, when they said, "Quinn Cook, that's me, I'm here, let's go," like,
You gotta
there had
remember,
to
this
be
isn't
more
no
to
middle
that,
school
bro.
field trip, though.
I mean, come on. There has to be something more to that, bro. Like, you don't just get left. No. How many times have you ever heard of a situation like
Oh,
this?
man, I ain't never
where a
heard of
player
nothing like
gets
that. That's
left
why I
at the
wanted to
arena?
bring it up.
Like, I'm trying to understand it. It's just not adding up, man. I'm like, how did you get left?
He straight got left at the arena.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
He ended up taking the Miami Heat's bus home.
Oh, that's even worse. That's
I'm
man
just
ain't got a
making that
Uber
up. I don't know if that's facts or
I
not,
was
but
gonna
that
say,
would be
oh, they got a
hilarious.
oh, that would be terrible. They probably drop him off in the worst part of Miami.
Oh, could you imagine, man?
There you go. This is your stop. Enjoy that ring. He got money.
Oh, man. So
Oh
before
my
we hop
gosh.
into a bunch of luau stuff here, guys, we're gonna hop into early year predictions. Who do you guys have in next year's finals before all the craziness and free agency and everything happens?
The Lakers.
Facts.
And who's out of the
If they're
East?
able, yeah,
Doesn't matter who's out of
I say the Lakers. When it comes to the East, right now there's two that's on my radar, and until it changes, and
Brooklyn.
they're not on my radar
Nope,
because I
they're on
think
mine.
that there's going to be so much dysfunction there that they're going to end up breaking up that
Big
entire
time.
team.
Kobe and
So
Shaq
When
had the same
Zilla
thing.
says the bubble suns.
Kobe and
Hey
Shaq
man,
had the
them
same
bubble
thing.
suns showing out. It'd be nice if they can play together like that in the beginning of the year. They really showed out. If they can add a couple of pieces to that roster, they may be something to look forward to.
Man, why are you giving Winzilla hope like that?
right.
I'm giving them hope.
You know dang well.
I'm giving them hope.
You
Oh,
know dang well
Booker
the Suns don't
needs
have a top
some
offense or a
sort
top
of
defense player. They don't have one
something.
or the
Booker
other.
needs something. He deserves at least
Booker needs
something.
to leave and go to another team. That's what Booker needs to do. But no, I would say that right now the two teams that stand out for me is Celtics, seeing what they do in the offseason.
Yep.
If they're able to keep that squad together, definitely going to be formidable to make it to the finals.
Gordon
And the
Hayward's a big
76
piece for free agent
and the
addition.
76ers with them having Doc Rivers, he's back in the East
Big
where he's
facts.
best at. And so he doesn't have to worry about all of that craziness until he gets to the finals. So he could definitely turn around the 76ers and make them more formidable. So those are like the big two teams.
I'll
The
give you that.
problem right now is even if, let's say, Antetokounmpo goes back to Milwaukee, yes, they'll probably be a number one seed, but they're gonna get bounced out first
In
or
the
second
playoffs.
round.
And it's
Like,
Yeah,
happened
correct.
every single
Correct.
year
like
that it's happened.
exactly, we already know
Correct.
what's gonna happen once they get to the playoffs, so there's no point in looking into that. So
Correct.
those
Because
are
they
the two,
tired. They
right?
tired from their
So
50 plus win seasons every year.
and like I said, for the Lakers, if they're able to add pieces, they're going to be formidable because, I mean, if you got LeBron and AD, there's not really much that's going to stop them
Gotta
in the
resign
West.
AD first, though.
Right. But at the same token, like
Warriors.
there's so much noise that's going to be made come, next year with people coming off of injuries. It's going to be interesting to see because what was so good about this season is all the talent had finally spread out, kind of like it was in the '90s. So everybody was excited to see what the Warriors were going to do, what Lakers were going to do, what the Clippers were going to do, what New Jersey, what the Brooklyn Nets were going to do, because the talent was just spread out so evenly. It was like, okay, well, it looks like we're going to have a legitimate season this time. There's no one team that stands out among the others. So I think that's going to be the thing. But when it comes down to it, I mean, I don't really see Golden State really taking the Lakers out. I don't believe that they will.
It's gonna be interesting. Golden State's gotta be able to get a centerpiece, obviously, because as of right now, they don't have one.
As I was
Um,
told, Golden State, when KD came to Golden State, it was because Draymond Green called KD and said he needed help with LeBron.
right.
So if he called in backup, and now LeBron has AD, I'm not afraid of Golden State. I'm sorry. There's nobody on their team that can stop AD. Sorry.
And who's going to stop Steph Curry? And when you stop Steph Curry, who's going to stop Klay Thompson?
Well, and that's the
The,
thing. They
wait,
both
wait,
can go
wait,
off at
wait,
any
wait,
point.
wait. They both can go off, but they also can be defended, and we've
Yes.
seen them melt down, and we've seen
Who
Steph
on the
Curry.
Lakers
And
can
I've brought
defend
this up
against
as
them?
well.
I
Is
guess
that the
that's a more
Celtics have
specific
gone in
question.
there and beaten
Who on the Lakers? Let's assume they
those
both keep their
Warriors and
same
shut
teams.
them
Like
down as well.
we know there's going to be
I,
free agents. We know there's going to be trades
mhm.
made. Both teams will adjust. I think the Warriors are going to make better decisions in who they pick up out of free agency and who they trade for just to be able. Because all the Warriors, there's only one team. There's only two teams they're worried about, right? They're only worried about the Houston Rockets, who can bounce them out,
Rockets
and
won't
then
be there next year.
and then and then they're worried about the Lakers. That's it. So if you're
So
the Warriors, you're only thinking about 2 teams.
The
let
two
me
That's it.
ask
teams you
you
gotta
a
worry about
question.
out west is
And
Let me ask you a
Nuggets are
question
gonna be
because
there again.
look at the
because you said
third
something
quarters
real
of the Golden
interesting.
State Warriors. Look at their third quarters. Okay, at any time in any third quarter, these Golden State Warriors can come out and drop 11 to 15 three-pointers in the third quarter, just whenever they feel like it. There is no way that the Lakers have that kind of three-point shooting, and there's no way that they can defend against that kind of three-point shooting in their current roster right now. There's
I
no
mean,
way.
Cleveland did it, and they had worse players. But
Right?
what I will say to that is, when you made a point when you said that they'll make smarter choices. Now I don't knock in regards to Golden State because it's obvious from who they pick that they do make wise choices. My only thing is I'm kind of to the point to where I'm upset at the fact that anytime the Lakers tend to go after someone, they're being held back by either the team or other teams or other club owners because they don't want the team to get better.
Facts.
And I think that that is kind of counterproductive because yes, you got Golden State, but Golden State can pretty much get any person that they want and nobody bats an eye. But the Lakers try to get someone and it's like, no, you can't have it. And
Yeah.
that's what we've seen in this past season. So many players that they were trying to go after either got blocked. There was behind the scenes conversations of not put it, don't let that player go to this team type stuff. So I get what you're saying, but it's kind of hard for the Lakers to put together a better squad because they're not just fighting against just like they're fighting against owners
They're
behind the
strapped
scenes
money
saying
wise already too.
no. So
Well,
it's kind of like it sucks because now you're left to free agency or you're left to the draft to try to better your team, but you don't know what talent they're actually going to give you.
Their money, literally their money that they have, is gonna go to either Anthony Davis or pieces, and it's gonna be Anthony Davis. And that's gonna take up their free agency and cap space. The Lakers don't have any money next year.
They can always go over. Don't luxury tax is a thing, and if you want to win, you gotta pay to win. I'm just saying, like it's not like
yeah,
the NFL. Luxury tax is a thing,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
everywhere that LeBron has gone, luxury tax has been a thing because you
Big
got to get
thing.
the players. You got to get the players. I'm sorry, you want to win, get me players.
All right, Lamb.
yeah.
What's your prediction? You said Lakers, obviously. Who's coming out the East?
I got my eye on 2 teams, just like my man. Hi, but my 2 teams are very
Dang,
much different.
he had to breathe deep when he said that. Go
Oh
ahead.
yeah,
All right.
oh yeah.
Okay,
He
I'm
did,
listening
too.
now. I'm
I'm
listening
gonna
now.
go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the Philadelphia 76ers. I said earlier that the best 2 teams I see out of the East are Boston and Philadelphia. They're solid, good teams. Imagine if Philadelphia could shoot the freaking ball. Imagine, bro. Imagine, and I hate this guy,
Simmons
but he
can
shoot the
never
ball.
consistently
But
shoot a three, and he never
but
will
it-
be able to.
But imagine, and I hate this guy. We were talking about it off stream. But imagine if they had a Carmelo Anthony who could come in and was good for 12, 13 points off the bench.
True.
Imagine if they had a shooter like that.
Yep.
Not someone who's going to dominate 30, 40 points, but just someone to come in off the bench for a little quick 10, 12 points. You know what I mean? Imagine. But the league changes. Your conference changes. Your division changes when the second best
Poor.
basketball player in
Stop.
the world comes back from injury.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Durant. Okay?
Too much.
You
friction
cannot-
gonna happen in that
You
one.
cannot teach, even with it, you can't teach 6'11". You can't teach that wet jump shot. You can't
Mhm.
teach dribbles. You can't teach defense and being able to yoke it and yam it over any player in the league. You can't teach it. There's always going to be friction among every player. Y'all been on professional sports teams. Well, professional. Nobody tried to. Y'all have been on
Mhm.
sports teams before.
I was gonna
And
say
still,
I ain't that good.
like I'm in a flag football league right now, and what do you got? The offense blaming the defense, a couple defensive players blaming the quarterback. Like
Yep.
there's always chat in the locker room with teams, but talent overshadows a lot of that. Not all of it, but talent overshadows. You don't think everywhere LeBron James goes, do you think the locker rooms just open up for him? Come to Thanksgiving with me, LeBron? LeBron probably gets more hate when he goes to a team than Kyrie Irving or any other player in the league because he's LeBron James. But talent overshadows a lot of that hate.
All right. So, question for you, because this is another conversation that Lamb and I have had. Injury. So, one of the things that caused Kobe to retire is because of the injury. When he came back, he was not the same.
Was not the same.
Do you think that on KD's return, because he's never faced an injury like he did when he was in Golden State, do you think he will have that, you know, I'm afraid to re-injure myself type of, I don't want to get too crazy, I don't want to do too much mentality when he comes back to the league?
Kevin Durant, no. I'll tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. He's got too much
ahead.
to prove. He's got too much to prove. If you would spend the majority of your free time as a young person with over $100 million, single with no children, creating burner accounts on Twitter to defend your own real self, you are definitely trying to prove something. If you left the team because Draymond Green told you the truth that you needed us, and you left the team because of that, you got
Mhm.
much to prove. He's going to come back, no fear, and he's going to come back looking real good.
All
Woo!
right. So
He's
I
going to
just
look
want
real
you
good.
to leave room for doubt, because there is a possibility that upon his return that KD may not be as explosive, he may not be as impactful as he once was. Now, of course, his shot will still be there, but as far as like you were saying, dunking on people and stuff like that,
Yep.
he could be hobbled based off of that injury, because it's a serious one. Like
Well,
that wasn't a joke.
good
Um,
thing he's not going to be handling the ball because we got Kyrie Irving for that, and he'll dribble in on everybody in the league
But
and
you know
take it off
Kevin
the gut.
Durant's not that type of
but
person though.
I'm sorry. He already had one of those. That was Russell Westbrook,
Yo.
and it didn't work out too well. And plus, Kyrie has plexiglass on his knees, so I don't know how long he'll
But
be
they're in the
dribbling the
East,
ball.
baby.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Let's
Look, the
go.
last time he broke his knee, he was in the East. So
Yep.
like, I
The
don't, I
last time
don't
he got a
know, bro.
championship, he was in the East.
Yeah, but he was playing
Woo!
with LeBron. He went to the Celtics, and that was terrible.
Who's a better player, LeBron or Kevin Durant? Don't answer quickly. Anyone who answers that question quickly, I know you don't really know basketball. Who's a better basketball player? Basketball player, Kevin Durant or LeBron James?
That's tough.
It is
Yeah,
tough.
but
It's
That's
very
tough.
tough.
Because it comes down to what you prefer. That's a speculative choice, because I could say LeBron, but that's because I like a big man that can pass, that can dunk, that can do all of that. But
Right.
at the same
Kevin
time,
Durant can do the same thing.
Well, no, he doesn't have the same. He doesn't have the high IQ passing, but he is a skilled player. He can knock down shots. He can dunk on. He can play defense. All of that. Same thing LeBron can do as well.
Is
It's
Kevin
just it
Durant a
comes down
better
to your presence,
is
to your
Kevin Durant a
preference.
better defender than LeBron James is?
No.
It depends on if LeBron James is actually playing defense or not.
Does Kevin Durant play more defense than LeBron James does?
He does.
He does.
Does that make him a better defensive player than LeBron James is just because he plays more defense in general?
No. Just because of LeBron's IQ and what he can do at any given point is better than what Kevin Durant can do at any given point during the entire game.
So in a one-on-one game of basketball, let's put it this way: LeBron James beats Kevin Durant.
Yes, just because of his size and his ability.
No way,
Man, I would
bro.
love to see that.
No,
It
I
would
ain't
be
gonna lie
really
to you.
good,
I would
but
Imagine
love
that
to see a
pay-per-view,
LeBron
yo.
takes
1-on-1.
him because of his size.
Woo! I
Even
would
Winzilla's
love to
saying
see
LeBron,
that.
come
I
on,
don't
win,
think
I
bro.
KD.
man, I would love to see that.
I was waiting
I
for you to
think.
see that. I didn't
Wait,
want to
wait,
say
wait.
nothing yet.
I think they would have to do like a best of 7 series, bro,
They
because
would duel
that
it
is
out.
gonna go.
Bro, let
That's
me
They
gonna
tell
would
you
go.
duel it
something.
out.
Let me
But
tell you something.
LeBron's size and
LeBron
his
James
advantage is
doesn't
gonna
win
wear down
one.
KD.
He doesn't win one game against
Uh,
KD 1-on-1, bro.
Ooh,
He
that's
doesn't win one
disrespectful.
game.
Wow.
Is Kevin Durant a better shooter?
He is,
He is.
but
But
Kevin
what?
Durant, but Kevin Durant does. Okay,
Kevin Durant's a
let's
better
not
defender and a better offensive player. He is.
let's
I
get
still
off
call,
of
I still call
KD
LeBron.
Yams right now.
I,
Winslow
I
says he's got his ticket to go
no,
slap you in the
I
face.
still. But remember this. Remember this hiatus. I still
Yeah.
call LeBron the number one player in the league in the world. I only call Kevin Durant number two. But when you think about it, it's like, And then you throw in a name like Kawhi Leonard, who could also go 1-on-1 with the great ones and still win games as well. Because Kawhi Leonard is that good. When you watch him, he's that good as well.
So who would win out of Kawhi and KD?
I honestly, I think Kevin Durant beats LeBron James in 1-on-1, and I think Kawhi Leonard beats Kevin Durant 1-on-1. I know it's crazy.
How do I exit this conversation? What is the disconnect? What button is disconnect? Did this man say that, bruh? I can't agree with that now, because I can't. If you're gonna say that KD could beat LeBron, then KD can definitely beat Kawhi.
Facts.
Say that again.
Kawhi is so much smaller.
If you say that KD can beat LeBron, he can definitely beat Kawhi.
Interesting. Why do you say that?
Because LeBron could beat Kawhi 1-on-1. Easy. I don't even have to think about that.
Nah, yeah, yeah.
LeBron.
Okay, let's say out of a
LeBron
series of
could
7,
beat-
like you said.
Huh?
Let's say out of a series of 7, like you said.
I still believe that LeBron could beat Kawhi. I don't see Kawhi being able to beat KD.
I don't either.
Because yes, Kawhi defensively got hands and stuff like that.
KD can
But
shoot over him all day.
KD is gonna shoot over him all day.
All day.
He's gonna yam on him all day.
And he's not gonna shoot over LeBron all day.
Because LeBron is gonna put body on him.
That's why I said LeBron's
and
size
he's
and
gonna
his
get
advantage is
tired.
gonna wear down.
He's gonna
KD.
get tired. He can't back down. He can't back down LeBron. But LeBron can back him down. The same way LeBron could back down and tire out Kawhi.
I take skill players over athleticism.
I mean, I'm not trying to win you over. I mean, your choice is your choice.
Shaquille O'Neal
I can't
could never outdo Michael Jordan. Bigger body, bigger height advantage. It wouldn't work.
Hold up. You said what?
Wouldn't work. I said Shaquille O'Neal is not beating Michael Jordan.
Do you know that they played 1-on-1?
Out of how many games?
Hold up. Do you know that they played 1-on-1 and Shaq beat him?
How many games?
Oh my gosh. I'm just saying.
We can beat anyone, bro.
You just said that he can't. But they actually did play 1-on-1 for fun.
Not been talking about a best of 7 series.
We have
brought it up.
But
you brought up the best of 7 series. I'm continuing.
You said that he couldn't, and this is something that we actually know. Like, they did play, and Shaq did get him.
Yep.
Because one of the things that we didn't know about Shaq can shoot threes.
He can
Did
shoot
you know that?
the three.
Is Shaquille O'Neal a better basketball player than Michael Jordan? Hiatus. Is Shaquille O'Neal a better basketball player than Michael Jordan?
No.
Okay, thank you. Next question.
He's
Next
just
topic.
more dominant.
Anybody can beat it.
He's more dominant.
If you made it to the NBA, you're a legend. right?
I
First
mean,
of all,
this is
you're
true. I
that good
mean,
just to
even if
make
you're
it
on the bench, I mean, you could
correct.
come into Rutgers and drop 60. So
Correct.
I
Like it
agree.
ain't nothing. But
Exactly.
come on, that's I don't. Come on now, man. If they were at a best of seven series, there ain't no way. The Shaquille O'Neal gets that one game. You know who Michael Jordan is? Why was this even a conversation?
Hey, I didn't
Do you
bring
know
them
who
two up.
Michael
You
Jordan
brought them
is,
up.
bro? I'm gonna buy you a
I,
pair of
I
Shaquille
didn't. I
O'Neals.
didn't.
What size
No,
shoes do
no.
you wear,
Do not
Hiatus?
buy me no Shacks.
Oh my lord.
Do not do that.
Do not buy no shacks.
Do not buy me no Shacks.
I'm
Oh
telling you,
my
the
gosh.
longer that basketball game goes, the more worn out Shaquille O'Neal gets anyway. The longer that series goes, the more worn out he gets. Michael Jordan's competitive streak is uncomprehensible.
This is
There's no
true.
way
I
he
mean,
loses the series to Shaquille
this
O'Neal.
is the reason why that comparison is a bad comparison, because when it comes to Michael Jordan, the only person that we could ever say Michael Jordan would go 1v1 and that would go like toe to toe with him would be Kobe.
Right.
They play exactly alike.
Oh,
They
Kobe
have the
was.
same mental toughness when it
Uh,
comes to that. Like, it would be a back and forth battle between them two. And so, because he studied Michael, you're going with the original versus the copied version of that, which is, they've had these conversations back and
They
forth over
have.
the years as well.
so
So
LeBron beats Kobe Bryant then two one on one in a
It
series
was
of seven.
basically even
hold on,
stated
hold
even
on.
during
Let
the
me
Last
let me
Dance
ask you a
series.
question, because I'm glad you brought that up.
Oh
Which
no.
Kobe, 8 or 24?
Eight. What? Who cares about 24 when you have
Oh
eight?
no.
Okay, well, I mean, shit. If you say 8, I can't say nothing. When he
Bro,
was
eight.
when he was when he was
Bro,
8 and had hair, he was dunking on people. So I can't
Bro,
even.
eight. You remember eight, bro? Let's go.
I mean,
What?
Kobe number 8. I can't even. Me personally, I can't say that LeBron. Because he was dunking on some big boys back in the
Yeah,
league.
bro.
That was when he was nasty.
And then you think about players like Allen Iverson, who came in the league dunking on the best players in the league too, crossing them over
I miss
from the
Allen
3 point
Iverson.
line, driving all the way to the hole.
This is true.
And then you look at players like Damian Lillard, who I think can cross over
So, all
anyone
right,
in the league
question.
too.
Question, since we're throwing out these hypotheticals. Who wins, AI versus MJ?
Ooh. Oh
Oh,
man.
I gotta say, MJ, and I'm gonna tell you why I say
Go
MJ.
ahead.
Because MJ's gonna do something that Allen Iverson would not do before that series of 7 games starts. Y'all know what that is?
What's that?
MJ's gonna practice, practice,
Give me a second, chat.
Oh, God.
practice.
He said he's gonna practice.
It ain't
Oh
talking
my
about the
gosh.
game.
So this is what I would say. It depends on who gets ball first. If AI gets ball first, Michael Jordan will never see it, because you're not ripping him. That, like, possibility that he could get the ball from him, but man, these are just hypotheticals, but these are things that I would love to see. I would love to see Kobe 8 with the hair, with the baby fro,
Ooh,
playing against
versus
LeBron James.
playing against Cleveland drafted rookie or sophomore
Ooh,
LeBron James, bro.
ooh, man. Oh, let's get it. That
Oh
would be
man.
crazy.
Oh, Melby, the dog spilt your cognac?
Yeah, man. I
You can't
literally
have
just opened it.
cognac,
She
bro.
hopped up,
Oh,
disconnected the mic, spilt the
Mm,
drink.
mm.
So
oh.
I'm like, really? So yeah, she
She
needs to
just
go
wanted
lay
a
down.
taste. She just wanted a taste. Give me,
Right?
give me. Some.
All over
Try
the
to get
place.
lit too.
Went all over the place. There's like half a drink that spilled too.
Jeez.
Alcohol abuse. So my prediction,
gosh.
since we had a little battle duo of grades, and this, that, and the other.
Yes, we did, man.
Lakers are taking it in the West. I don't foresee, especially if they get Anthony Davis back in free agency. I don't foresee anybody taking down that team. And then in the East,
I know.
it's going to be hard in the East. Miami, if they keep that core together, they're going to be a force to reckon with still. Boston, of course, is still going to be a force to reckon with, especially if we actually get a true center. And Philly with Doc Rivers, you can't pass that up either.
This is true.
So the East is going to be really difficult. It's going to be a matter of those three teams no matter what. I don't foresee anybody else really coming into the conversation. Even if Giannis comes back and goes back to Milwaukee, they'll get bounced in the first or second round.
Just got to build a wall, man. It's been found out.
In the East is going to be hard. And then Gordon Hayward's a free agent as well. So I don't know what we're going to do with that. I haven't heard any speculation on that yet either. So if we do re-sign Gordon Hayward and actually get a healthy Gordon Hayward like we had before COVID and everything like that and the stoppage, and he re-hurt his ankle again, and get a true center, I believe we'll take the East. If we don't, we're gonna struggle with Miami again. Brooklyn's not in that conversation. Brooklyn's finishing at a best fifth in the East.
Everybody in chat, you remember I said Brooklyn, KD, Kyrie, let's go.
Yes, please remember he said it.
Remember
Brooklyn
it.
is at best finishing fifth in the East, in my opinion. Give me 1 second.
Fifth in the East is good enough to make it to a championship.
Obviously, from this year.
Literally fifth in the East. That's the best I'm giving them.
I'm like, fifth in the East?
And
that sounds like a championship team to me.
Oh my lord. Oh my lord. That team, someone gonna get traded by the trade deadline. That's how disgruntled that team's gonna get, I think.
Nah, they're gonna pick up pieces, bro. They're gonna pick up. They're gonna make some trades.
So disgruntled.
The Golden Warriors are gonna be so active in the West as
gonna
well.
Ruin that team. Speaking of new coaching, Doc Rivers obviously is in Philly now. Tyronn Lue is in speculation that he's going to join in Houston, guys. He has been talking with the Houston Rockets and possibly getting a head coaching job over there. Jeff Van Gundy is in talks with the Pelicans and signing up over there. We haven't seen Jeff Van Gundy in a while, guys. It's been a minute since we've seen Jeff Van Gundy.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah, exactly.
That is dead in the sand.
So, with a really young squad and signing Jeff Van Gundy, if they do go through with that, it is going to be fairly interesting.
It's really not. It's going to come down to...
It's going to be rough for them if they do
it's
go
gonna
with that
come.
signing.
It's going to come down to talent because it ain't going to be coaching.
No, exactly.
Can I just say that it's a shame that in Houston, Texas, one of the largest cities in the United States of America, and all their sports teams and championships, the best professional coach right now is the coach of the Astros.
Screw the Astros.
Oh,
how does that make any sense? How is that the best coach right now?
Cheating.
In Houston.
Wow.
They need to get out of here.
That's tough.
They don't even deserve to be in the playoffs this year.
Who voted this year, bro?
Who voted?
They should be.
They've been playing under a microscope.
They should be yanked to their championship and not even be allowed in the playoffs this year.
Oh, you can't say that as a Patriots fan, bro.
We admitted it at least.
Y'all have never admitted to anything.
Oh, bull. We admitted to the Jets scandal and Spygate.
What about
Yeah.
Deflategate, man?
Yeah, because
Are
there
you
was
kidding me?
Deflategate.
We're playing in negative temperatures, and they proved that in a what do you want to call it? They did like a MythBusters thing on it.
Who did?
Did you? Oh my
Mythbusters.
lord!
Who did? Because
Mythbusters.
it wasn't the commissioner.
No, there was no. What's that one dude that always pops up with all that sports speculation crap with like precision catching, this, that, and the other? He does the percentages on everything. With all the high tech gear and the robots and all that shit.
You can't see the face I'm making right now, but
You can't.
But I know you guys have seen it because it's been during the games too. Because they've done the percentage and all that stuff during the games too and stuff. I know people, and when I know you know what I'm talking about, and I know you've seen it. I know you can back me up on it. But
He's not going to.
they
though.
did a bunch of tests on that. It wasn't fully guaranteed on Deflategate. So I can't say anything about that as a Patriots fan.
So this
but
is
as
this
far
is
as
what-
everything else, we have admitted to.
Look,
And we
he's
even
trying-
got caught for
don't-
basically another Spygate
Look,
against
Mel-
Cincinnati last year.
so y'all done it more
Melvin.
than once, but the Astros
Melvin,
have only done
don't-
it once, right? Y'all
Look.
done it more than once, though.
Oh yeah, we've cheated like 5 times in the last 15 years.
Because they're trying to win championship babies.
I heard that Tom Brady likes his football at a certain size. And,
that was
yeah.
stated as well.
Yeah, cheater
And
size.
so-
That's right. Cheater size. Correct.
Just
Cheater
saying,
size. Oh my lord.
He likes it
my
at a
lord,
perfect,
Chad.
not too high, not too low, just at a perfect cheater size.
Is-
Let's go.
Look, is
Oh
that the
my
reason why it took
lord.
him a while to get his arm thrown down in
I'm-
Tampa? Is
Yeah,
that what
that's
was
why
going?
he can't throw in Tampa. He's like, damn it, where's the cheater ball at?
You guys are killing me. Hold on, let me spike this ball real quick and get another
Oh
timeout.
my gosh! Exactly.
My
throwing all
lord, you
kinds of
guys are
picks out
killing
to
me.
them. Oh, man.
Oh.
He's looking around screaming, Belichick, where the hell my cheater balls at? I can't throw these things. What are these, regulation size? I can't throw these.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Okay.
god. And
New England's an
speaking
easy target. Let's move on.
Oh, man.
New England's an easy target. Being a valued fan, trust me, I know this.
Oh
And
god.
speaking of coaches, Billy Donovan got to the Chicago Bulls guys and fired 4 people immediately. He got
Jeez.
there and fired 4 assistants. So, culture
Damn.
of the Chicago Bulls is gonna be.
He sounds like
changing.
President Trump. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
Get him
You're
outta
fired.
here.
Cleaning
You're
house,
fired.
bro. What was that show? The Apprentice? You're
Yep.
fired. You're fired. You're fired. Just cleaning house,
Clean.
bro.
Yeah.
Oh my
But-
gosh.
Oh
I
my
mean,
lord!
It looks worse on paper, but let's be honest. They need it.
They needed it.
Yeah,
in
they-
Chicago.
They need a huge
time.
rehaul in Chicago.
Yeah,
they
they
really do. So Billy Donovan hopping up in there and starting to already change that culture and changing everything up is hopefully going to be a really good sign for the Chicago Bulls going forward.
Nice.
Moving the subject, guys, we're going to move to the NFL. We spent a lot of time on the NBA, but we had a blast with it. Had an absolute blast with it. Moving to the NFL, guys, we had a lot to talk about for the NFL. A lot of stuff happened. We're going to talk about the games here over the weekend as well. A lot of games stood out as... Oh, I called this one especially on Saturday. I called the upset. Oakland, or not Oakland. I keep saying Oakland. I'm so used to saying Oakland. I never want to say Vegas because Vegas honestly doesn't deserve a team in hockey or the NFL. I
their
don't
hockey
like it. It
good.
is so weird to say, and it's not okay. But the Vegas Raiders upset the Kansas City Chiefs. Predicted it on the Saturday's podcast. They went into Kansas City like they've done in the last couple of years and beaten Kansas City. Another upset that was huge as well. The Dolphins went in and beat the crap out of the 49ers and handed
Yes,
them
they
the
did.
worst loss that they have had in that new stadium since they've opened that stadium. Shout out to Dangling. I know he's a huge fan, and he was all over that. He'll send me pictures all day long about it. One of the biggest stories in that game as well. We're going to have to keep an eye on that too. Jimmy G ended up getting benched at halftime. CJ Beathard ended up coming in, and which obviously didn't work out for them as well.
What a shock.
Oh, you thought it was going to be a different outcome?
And
Sure.
in
If only.
my opinion, I don't understand why they sat Jimmy G. It completely blew my mind. I understand he had a bad half, but you gotta take the fact that he's also coming back from an ankle injury as well.
Nope.
So
Nah.
Trash in the Super Bowl.
I
It was
mean-
trash all last year. You got
yeah,
carried by
but
that
you don't
defense
go with a
running.
CJ Beathard. Like, come
You-
on.
Yeah, that's true.
You
That's-
stick with your main
that's-
dude that you paid the money for,
Yeah.
and that Kyle Shanahan wants on the field. Like,
Yeah, well, if
I
that's
guarantee
if
you that
Jimmy
call
G's your
came
guy,
from upstairs.
If
I
Jimmy G's
guarantee
your
you
guy,
that call
you
came
gotta
from upstairs.
you take him out though. You take him out.
Yeah,
Just like
Facts.
if I'm a head coach or general manager and Joe Burrow's my quarterback right now, take him out. He's getting hit too much. We just drafted him. Take him out. Sit him. The season is going to be trash. You're not going to beat the Ravens,
Right.
which I said will be blown out, and they were. They only scored
They
3
did.
points. I
but
believe the
Lamar
Bengals-
Jackson struggled in that game, big time.
Well, Lamar
Jackson
Jackson
struggled.
He's not a throwing quarterback. He's a running quarterback. And
This
if
is
you
true.
spy him with someone who's fast enough, he's not going
He's
to really
contained.
go crazy. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, he still ran all over them. Let's not make no mistake about it. But he definitely ain't looking like he did last year.
Right.
I think is what you're saying. Because last year he looked like a god of it looked like college football last year.
Right.
I don't know if y'all ever watched him with Louisville or
Mhm.
whatever, but he looked like he was playing college football last year.
Yep.
This year, Lamar Jackson looks like he's in the NFL. So, but yeah, you were definitely right about the Raiders beating the Chiefs, and that's exactly why the Chiefs on my power rankings went down to number 2.
This is
And I said
true.
because of that defense. And I had Pittsburgh.
And they have
at
injuries
number
on that defense too.
and look at that squad. But the thing about injuries is, which is why I'm so hard on my Dallas Cowboys, I didn't say anything about, but this guy's out, but this guy's out. It's a part of the game. Adjust.
Yep.
Make adjustments. I
Speaking
give no
speaking
slack
of
to my Dallas
adjustments,
Cowboys at all. None.
can we talk about the fact that Seattle was handed a gift on Sunday?
Oh man, we were talking about that before we hopped into the podcast.
Oh man.
Straight
You
gifted.
just kicked the
Let's
the
just
field
kick
goal,
it
man.
and just
You
give them the
kicked
time
field
left,
goal.
and let's just go ahead and let them score. Real quick.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Even if they score, you get the ball back. Just kick the field goal.
Like, absolutely insane. It made no sense to me. Minnesota deserved that loss.
I got an even worse stat of not trusting your quarterback and when you absolutely shouldn't. Here's the team in the league that really hates their quarterback right now. The Philadelphia Eagles.
That's because Carson
True.
Wentz sucks.
They would rather attempt the longest field goal in the history of their franchise
Jeez.
than say, go back out there, Carson. We believe in you. They'd rather
Right.
attempt the longest field goal in the history of their franchise than let that football touch his hands one more time in that game.
Agreed.
And it was
Feels
sad.
horrible.
Feels bad. There was 3 other noticeable games that I noticed this past weekend as well, guys. The Browns ended up beating the Colts, which was a kind of a surprise. Browns are
I
trending
told you
up.
about them Browns.
They are. They're
Yes,
trending
sir.
up. They beat up on the number 1 defense in the league this week, 32-23.
I think last week, Saturday, didn't I say that you might want to keep an eye on them? And somebody was like,
Yup.
but the defense, though.
Bad defense.
Yeah, no, just watch.
Mm.
Just watch.
Okay.
Get gassed up.
Yeah,
Get gassed
yeah.
up. Stay gassed up.
They
gassed up.
I'm just saying.
Stay gassed up.
I'm just
They
saying.
have-
It's been a
statistically,
while.
They have the
But
second
if you also
worst
look at that
quarterback
game,
right
though,
behind
too,
Carson
they
Wentz.
were without their playmaker in that game on
Watch.
defense and Darius Leonard. Darius
They have-
Leonard acquires for 15 tackles by himself and
They
is
have
their
the
playmaker on defense.
The Browns have statistically the second worst
And play
quarterback.
I get
And
what
Baker
you're
Mayfield.
saying. I get what you're saying.
So just
Liam,
wait.
I'll-
Look,
all
look
I'm-
at
bad.
look at
All
their
Defense is
division.
I'm
terrible.
saying is
look at their
last season and the seasons before, they were basically
Trash.
what the Buccaneers used to be. The Yuccaneers. They were just terrible. They
Yep.
were horrible. This year, they're putting up a legitimate fight, and I got to
They are.
commend them on the fact
No.
that they are fighting and
I
they're
gotta
not
give it to
getting
him.
blown out
No.
in games. And we're already into, where the team
They're
stop
at the
playing
best
around
start that they've had
and they
in
start
like
paying attention.
forever.
So exactly. So I mean, after the Johnny Manziel nonsense and all of the craziness that they've experienced, like I want to enjoy this along with them. They may not. I'm not saying they're going to win and go
Right.
to the playoffs. I'm not saying that they're going to win a championship, but I do want to just take
I'm
the
liking the
time to
facts that the Browns
enjoy
are
the
actually
ride.
doing something.
Exactly. And
Let's
we're
take
not.
a
They're
look.
not just the beat up
Let's take a
dummy
let,
out there.
let's take a deeper dive with Lamont here, shall we? Good old Lamb. By the way, Lamb is short for Lamont. Let's take a deeper dive with Lamont. I'm Lamont right now. Okay,
I'm
I'm not even
Lamont right
Lamb.
now.
Okay, this is Lamont.
Okay,
First
Lamont,
game,
it's nice to meet you. Go ahead.
they lose to the Ravens, 38-6. Not even close.
Mm-hmm.
100% healthy team. Second game, who's their first win? Bengals. Okay, AJ Green's barely back. Brand new quarterback, rookie. Who cares if they win that game? They only won it by
True.
5 points too.
True.
Third game, they beat the Washington. We don't know who the hell our quarterback and running back is.
The Washington football team.
Yep, we don't know. We don't know who. We don't. All we have is Chase Daniel. All we have is Chase Daniel, and then he was already injured. Right by week 3, he was already injured. He was already out.
By the
So
way, that
they
is
didn't even
the
have their first
pettiest
round draft pick
football
on defense.
name that I've ever heard
I
in my
can't
life.
believe they haven't done anything with that name yet.
Yep. So that was their third game
That's just petty.
I don't even think no, he was playing. It was Dwayne Haskins in
Geek,
there.
what's going on, Geek?
And then who else was missing? Their number 1 draft pick, Chase Daniel from the Buckeyes on defense, was also out injured. So they beat the Washington football team. So they're 2 wins. So they're 2-1. They lost against a good team, the Ravens, and then they beat a team with a rookie quarterback, the Bengals, and then they beat a team, Washington, who doesn't have any star players at all. Right?
That's a
Third
lie.
game.
They got Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin's nice.
He's been hurt most of the season already. He's been injured.
But he's still
Go
pretty
ahead.
good.
Go forth, Lamont.
Fourth game, they beat the team in the league with the worst defense, the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
Statistically, the worst defense in the league is what they beat there. Okay?
Okay.
Fifth game, they beat the Indianapolis Colts, who actually had a winning record, and I will give them props, even though a lot of their primary offensive targets are injured, and they also have a brand new quarterback learning a brand new system. Prediction. Now, they lose against the Steelers. They beat the Bengals. They lose against the Raiders. They lose against the Texans. I'm going to say they beat the Eagles because they're god-awful. I say they lose against the Jags. They lose against the Titans. They lose against the Ravens. I say they beat the Giants. They're only going to win 4 games. They lose every other game. They might win 3. I'll give them 3 more wins for the rest of the season because their schedule's not easy. Raiders, Texans, Titans, Ravens again. Like, their schedule's not easy. Steelers again. They play the Steelers twice. They play the Ravens again, and they play the Ravens again, the Steelers twice, the Raiders, and the Houston Texans. You're telling me those aren't all losses?
No, I get what you're saying. But if you go back to the previous season and season before that, the teams that you're mentioning, even with the plethora of injuries, they wouldn't even be close to beating those teams. So this is what I'm saying. I'm just commending them on finding a way to beat teams that they should beat and beat a team and beat a team that
so
that we didn't think that they were gonna win, and they pull it out. I'm just commending them.
That's
because
hilarious.
what
That's a good
we've
way to
seen,
put it.
what we've seen from them over the past since they came back into the league has not been positive.
No, it hasn't.
And
really
there was no upward trend. There was no positivity. There was no, Yeah, nobody said the Browns are going to be good this year. Nobody said that. So it's
Everybody
like,
says the Browns are going to be good. Ever since they got Odell Beckham, everyone says, "Oh
listen,
my gosh, this team is going
I
to the
don't I
Super
don't
Bowl."
know I don't know the people that you're talking to, but
The
I,
diehard
I
Cleveland
don't care.
fans.
I
No,
don't seriously, because listen, I
all
don't
the
care.
announcers and everybody when they first got together didn't say that they were going to be a Super Bowl team, just like they said about Tampa Bay Bucks this year. Oh, they're going to the
No,
Super Bowl.
core.
Rob Gronkowski, Mike Evans, Tom
Man, I ain't
Brady.
watched that episode because I'd have told them, y'all,
Yeah,
I don't know
right.
what y'all on,
Core.
but listen, just enjoy some wins along the way. They may or may not make it to the playoffs. If they do, awesome, great achievement. They're not going to go far, but hey,
Come here.
give them props if they make it. So I'm just enjoying their ride because they've had a rough start to their expansion into the league. It's just been horrible season after horrible season after horrible season. So
Yeah, it has.
kudos to them.
I mean, they had a decent season last year and it fell apart on them.
Screw the Browns. No kudos.
Wow.
You're dumpster fire
my
garbage.
gosh.
How do y'all keep letting Baker
That's
Mayfield do all these
crazy.
commercials? He needs to be throwing the football. He cannot throw a football accurately. His best plays are handoffs. You know who
All
the
right.
best player on the Cleveland
Keep
Browns
talking.
is?
He gonna come and take them Texans down.
You're really
and then
going to
you
give it to
have
Kareem
you gonna
Hunt
have
just
to
because
deal
Chubb's
with
hurt?
your Houston team
Kareem
getting taken
Hunt-
down by the Browns.
As soon as Kareem Hunt joined the Browns, he became the best player on the Browns team. And Nick Chubb began to
Wow.
fear for his life. Do you remember Kareem Hunt, bro?
Wow.
Are you going to
Yes.
say that Nick Chubb is better than Kareem Hunt? Do you remember Kareem
That's
Hunt
why
in the
Nick
league
Chubb's
with
still
Kansas
getting the
City?
majority of the carries when he's healthy, right? And averaging over 100 yards a game.
He has to, bro. Kareem Hunt kicked a white girl on tape. You can't make him the
gosh.
starter if Nick Chubb's healthy. Am I lying?
You're not lying.
You cannot.
We just don't talk about it.
We talk about it. You cannot abuse. You cannot have an assault charge and start over somebody who's good and doesn't have an assault charge.
This is
You just
true.
can't. But Kareem Hunt is a better running back than Nick Chubb. He's faster. He has better jukes. He's a better running back. I think he's the best running back on that football team. I think he's the best player on the Browns.
No, he ain't the best player on the Browns.
Who's the best player on the Browns?
Odell Beckham when he's healthy. How is he not?
He just
How
like
is
Odell.
he?
It's okay.
All right, next topic then.
Right.
How?
And moving
Next
on.
topic then.
what is
Moving
Odell-
on,
what is
since
Odell
he is
done?
such an Odell
Hey.
hater fan.
Hey.
In the last 3 years, what has
Melby.
Odell done?
Melby. Let's just go back to talking to Lamb because I don't know what Lamont on. So
Oh my God, chat! Are y'all hearing this right now? Odell Beckham is the best player on the. What has Odell done in the last 3 years? Bring up his stats. Bring up his stats, bro.
bring back Lamb, please.
Bring back
Odell.
Lamb, chat. We don't want Lamont no more. Bring back the Lamb that we're used to. Bring back
Give us
the
the
Lamb.
old Lamb. Give us
We
the
want the
real
old Lamb back. We don't want this Lamont
Yeah.
guy. Who's this
The
Lamont
Browns.
guy?
Odell's stats with the Browns. Let's look it up.
Oh,
He's the best player
man.
on the Browns, right? Oh my gosh.
Oh, here he goes.
He's already
You're
got
not
a
gonna
passing
wanna hear
TD.
He's like, you're not gonna want to hear it. Oh,
You're not going to
man.
want to hear it. You know who the number one wide receiver in the league is right now? I believe it's still Calvin Ridley, isn't it? Even when he went out of the game with an injury?
No,
I believe he's still number
DeAndre
one.
Hopkins, I believe.
Oh, did he surpass him finally this week?
He didn't have a great
He
game.
may
but
have.
I'm pretty sure he passed him.
Yeah, he might have. Hold on, let me click on career. Let me click on career.
Yeah.
You know what Odell Beckham's got right now?
DK Metcalf's got more yards. Robbie Anderson's got more yards than Calvin Ridley now, actually.
Yeah, that injury doesn't help.
Odell's got a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns already.
Really.
How's he not? Are
I'm
you
bringing it
kidding
up
me?
right now. I'm bringing it up right now.
This guy is such an Odell hater, chat.
No, I just
He
think
is
he
such
got
an Odell hater.
No, he's overrated.
He's only
I'm
got
not saying he's
21
not.
catches this year for 300 yards. The top leading receiver has 45 for 530.
That's
So
a
he has
huge
15.
difference.
He's got 20 less receptions. If he would have had those 20 receptions, he'd be at the top of the leaderboard.
Oh my gosh. What? What did you just say? If he would have caught the ball more, he would be a better receiver and have more yards? That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh wow.
Okay, so let's see everyone who's above Odell Beckham for leaders on wide receivers this season, right?
Yeah, it's
Where's
like
Odell?
20 some people.
Julian Edelman, Darren Waller, Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods,
All right.
Emmanuel
We're
Sanders,
not going
Devontae
through the
Parker,
entire list.
Will Fuller, Tyler Boyd, Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, Darius Slayton, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. Like, what do you mean?
You just said
What
you wanted
do
to pull up career stats, not this season.
Oh no, I got those up too. Hold up.
Oh my god.
This guy's such an Odell hater, guys. It's
All right.
ridiculous. From now on, we're just never going to talk about Odell Beckham
4
Jr.
touchdowns.
Apparently,
Just
4
don't
touchdowns
don't
last
bring
year.
him up.
we won't bring him up. If he has a 500-yard career day and breaks a
Hold on.
record, we just won't bring it up, chat, because he's
4
trash. Apparently,
In the last, not including this year, in the last 2 seasons, 10
he's
touchdowns.
been hurt the last 2 years. He had an ankle injury and sat out all last year.
Oh my gosh.
What do you
That's
expect? Or
right.
not all last year, but the year before.
So do you think he's the same as pre-injury? Because we know AJ
He's
Green's not.
healthy this year. Obviously, AJ Green's
But
not.
he's-
AJ Green's been in the league for like 13 years now.
Odell Beckham's not as good as he used to be. Can we agree on that? I don't know if it was the injuries, but he's not as good as he used to be. Because if you look at his stats pre-injury, they're like double.
He also had a
bro.
better quarterback throwing on the ball, and that's sad to admit.
My point exactly.
All right, next
And
topic.
Melby, we agree. We actually agree. Everything you just said, I agree with 100%. He used to have a better quarterback throwing to him, and he got injured before he came over
He's
here.
just an
I agree.
Odell hater. It is sad.
The stats are what the stats are.
No,
You have 10
his
touchdowns.
stats are good.
You can't be a primary wide receiver in the league with 10 touchdowns in 2 years. You can't.
He had an ankle injury for a whole year. What do you expect?
Whose fault is that?
He broke an ankle.
Oh my god.
Oh my
is that the-
lord! Are you
is that
kidding
the stats
me?
fault? Is
Are
that the
you
stats
kidding me?
fault?
So you're telling me you expect him to go out there, run on a broken ankle, and throw out 20
No.
touchdowns?
No, that's crazy. What I expect is for people to stop saying he's a top wide receiver in the league.
He is a top wide receiver in the league when he's healthy. He's a threat.
He's
How is he not?
Every wide receiver who's healthy is a threat in the league.
No, not at all.
Robbie Anderson has almost
Robbie
500
Anderson's always
yards
been a
right
good
now.
wide receiver.
Oh my god. All right, next topic. You're right.
How has Robbie Anderson not been a good wide receiver? Robbie Anderson statistically has been a top 10 wide receiver almost every single year.
I will tell you who I'm shocked by that I thought would be trash, and I'm realizing I should have picked him up on the fantasy football wide receiver, though.
Even when Robbie Anderson was
Allen
with the
Robinson.
Jets, he was a reliable fantasy wide receiver, and that's hard to say.
Couldn't stay healthy. He had like 3 good games.
Oh
Couldn't stay
my
healthy.
Lord.
He's always injured. And didn't he get busted like stealing and got cut from the team because he was like stealing in a
Kevin
mall or
says,
something?
"Put me in, coach."
Me and coach. Oh
Oh
man.
man.
Do you think Robbie Anderson? Oh, I won't even say that because that's ridiculous. Do you think Amari Cooper is a better wide receiver than Odell Beckham?
Yeah, obviously.
Who's their quarterback?
I think that's a fair comparison.
Are we comparing it on who's the quarterback? Or
Core.
just in general?
No, it doesn't. But come on, guys, look at this. You want to know why D Hop is one of the greatest of
come on,
all
guys.
time, even without a championship? Because it doesn't matter what QB's throwing to him, right?
But you had this argument with me last week that he wasn't the best wide receiver in the league.
I know Michael Thomas is the best wide receiver in the league, but I said the reason why D Hop is one of the greatest of all time. He's in my GOAT. He's in my GOAT, even without a Super Bowl, even without an AFC championship, because he put up Antonio Brown numbers without a Hall of Fame quarterback throwing to him. What was that one year? He had Brock Osweiler throwing to him. Tom Savage throwing to him.
And
Like he went through three
that's also
quarterbacks,
why
bro.
Larry Fitzgerald's gonna be a Hall of
100.
Famer.
I agree, 100%. But can you tell me that Odell Beckham is as good as those guys to be because to me to be a top
We
wide
never
receiver?
put them at top of those guys.
What do you mean when you say top wide receiver though? Outside of D Hop and Michael Thomas,
We're not saying number 1 wide receiver. You're just saying top wide receiver. You didn't
Okay.
specify a number, 10, 5, this, that, and the other. So if you
Okay.
say top, then yeah, we're going to
Yes.
consider him as a top wide receiver in the
yes,
league.
Odell Beckham is a top 50 wide receiver in the league. Then I agree.
Oh my lord, you can't. Wow. Okay.
Top 50.
I'm just saying.
Wow.
Let me ask you this: would you rather have, if you had the pick of any of 5 wide receivers to start your team off with, is Odell Beckham making that top 5?
It depends on where your draft pick is, obviously. How can you determine
No.
that?
You get the first 5 picks.
Well, then obviously no.
Okay, so what 5 wide receivers would you pick over him?
Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald. Probably in this day and age right now,
Hill.
Tyreek Hill, yes. And
Speed kills.
No, you can't consider Kelce because he's a tight end. It has to be a legit wide receiver.
Agreed.
My 5th would most likely probably actually go to Michael Evans.
Michael Evans is amazing. He's underrated, by the way. He's super
I'll
underrated.
give it to Michael Evans because Michael Evans, no matter what and who's throwing to the ball, is a consistent wide receiver.
Would Odell make your top 10?
Yes.
What about you, Hiatus? If you had, he would make your top 10 for wide receivers in the NFL, active wide receivers in the NFL.
He would.
Okay. I am definitely the oddball out.
No, you're cool though.
He might make my
cool.
number 11 because I see.
Oh, he gives him one position off, chat. He's that much of an Odell hater. He's going to throw him at the 11th spot.
No. Listen. Y'all think I'm an Odell Beckham hater, but I'm about to disprove it right now. Tell me that these guys aren't better than him. Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, Adam Thielen, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper. Should I keep going?
That's only 7.
DK Metcalf.
No, he's not better than DK.
What? DK Metcalf is
Odell's
balling
better than
all
DK.
the way out.
DK's only been in the league for 2 years.
Okay, let's take out DK Metcalf. Let's go Mike Evans. Let's go Cooper Kupp.
Odell's better than Mike Evans.
Dude, Mike Evans gets the most freaking whatchamacallit, defensive pass interference calls.
That's fine. That's defensive pass interference calls. Look what Odell can do just catching the ball ability. At least he can catch the ball.
Where has it been for the last 3 years, bro?
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
Lord.
we're back.
Here we
Are
go
y'all
again,
saying that-
chat. Here
Are
we
y'all
go.
not saying that those? Did I just not name a solid 9 receivers
You can
that are way
you
better
can
than
throw
Odell?
that dude a ball 10 foot out of his radius.
No,
and he's
you
gonna
named
make it
a
count.
solid 7.
Yeah, you named a solid.
You named a solid
8.
7, and there was
D-Hop.
discrepancy on 8.
D-Hop, Michael Thomas.
We're not. Next
not gonna
topic,
do that
chat.
shit.
Next topic.
Come on,
Y'all are
Lamont.
wrong.
Come
Next
on, Lamont. Now,
topic.
Y'all are wrong,
now
bro.
you added numbers. Now,
Tyler
come on.
Boyd, Cooper Kupp, Keenan Allen.
Oh
Tyler
my
Lockett,
lord.
Allen
He
Robinson.
just throwing out
Robert
wide
Woods,
receivers
Oh
now.
my god.
And all these wide receivers have done better than Odell Beckham the last 3 years running.
He's been hurt the last year
All
and a half.
of them. Whose fault? Tyreek Hill was hurt and still put in numbers.
Tyreek Hill was
too,
hurt
bro.
for 2 games.
Cooper Kupp was hurt.
Cooper
as
Kupp
well.
was hurt for 3 games.
Okay.
Odell
Does
was
that
hurt
mean
for 16 games.
we'll get big? Weight room.
Oh
Okay?
my! I'm out.
Oh
I'm
my
out.
lord. We're both
Y'all are
out, chat.
acting-
We're
I'm
both
out.
out. This is now the Lamb podcast.
Is Kevin Durant trash because he's been injured? Is he a trash player now because he's been injured?
Well, according to you, no.
Exactly. Exactly.
At
Y'all are
least you're
flipping it.
consistent.
How is it same? How is it same for? How is y'all saying it's good for football but not for basketball? What's
Oh
good for the goose is
man.
No,
good for the gander.
I think I made the point that
He's
when
hurt.
KD
He's
comes
hurt.
back,
Well, that's
we
football.
hold up. I made the point that when KD comes back,
Football is also a
we
lot
don't
less shorter of a
know
season than
we don't
basketball
know if
is.
he's going to be what he was before. I made that statement.
Yep.
So if he was hurt, he's hurt. If he's healthy, then we see once he's healthy if he's still at the level that we're accustomed to seeing him play at.
But the custom level that what we're accustomed to see Odell play at. Are you saying he's been hurt for 3 years?
Bro,
Has he been hurt for 3 years?
hold up. Because first off,
He's
his
missed like
quarter
20 some games in the
his
last 3
quarterback
years
was
actually.
Eli freaking Manning.
Yeah. And
So
dominated the
so
league for the first like 3
I
years
need you to
before he got
chill
hurt.
because it was Eli
Eli
freaking
Manning
Manning.
is a
And
Hall of Fame first ballot
and
quarterback.
you have to because he beat Brady twice.
Only because he beat Brady.
That's it.
That's
And he
the
has
only
two
reason.
He beat Brady
He has
twice.
2
That's
rings.
it.
He has
That's
2
the-
rings.
Yeah, we said
He
that.
does. He does.
There's another quarterback who's beat Brady, but he don't have 2 rings.
Yeah, he's only got one.
This is true.
And
That's what I'm saying.
unfortunately, he's going to get into the Hall of Fame because it made Eagles history as well.
Correct. But also Russell.
Oh, my
Doesn't
lord.
Russell have one against
Yeah,
Tom too? He
Russell
doesn't have
Wilson's
2.
obviously going to be in the Hall of Fame. Look
Yeah.
what the dude's done in his career.
But what I'm saying is Eli's
No,
beat
no,
that
no,
guy
no, no,
Belichick
no, no,
twice.
no. Russell don't
Eli's
have
beat that guy
one.
Russell has one.
They lost that game. They
Yeah,
lost
but
that
he's-
game.
No. They've been to 2 Super Bowls.
They've
They
been
won
two-
one and lost
Yeah,
one.
they won and lost one, but he hasn't beaten Brady.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to say, I
Yeah.
remember watching that game
because
when
they
he
smacked
should
the
have ran,
shit
but
out
they
of the
threw it.
Broncos. Yeah.
Yeah, that was horrible.
They smacked the shit out of the Broncos for the first
Yeah, that was
one.
horrible.
You got that big old guy and you gonna throw the ball. That's fine. Game over.
No,
You got
literally.
beast mode and you
We'll
want
take
to
it.
toss.
Beast
We'll
Mode's like,
take
I'm going to
goal line.
retire and then go to Oakland next year.
Exactly.
See ya.
It's okay. Cool. Whatever.
Yeah, he's like, I got a ring. I'm good anyway.
Other notable game. Texans came back, guys, after firing Bill O'Brien and beat the Jaguars. Pretty happy for Deshaun Watson and J.J. Watt because that's a big change for them. That system got so dismantled so fast. They traded away their future picks. They traded away their number 1 wide receiver. They have nothing left for the future to build around J.J. Watt for the rest of his career and Deshaun Watson's future. It's going to be rough for them. So to see them come out after their first game after firing their coach and getting their first win of the season as well was pretty good. But the hot topic over this past weekend, guys, was obviously the Cowboys game. Horrific injury, and Dak Prescott dislocated injury of that ankle on top of a compound fracture / break as well. He ended up having
prayers
surgery.
go out to him and his family, man.
Yes,
That's
big time.
crazy.
Big prayers. He ended up having surgery like hours after. He pretty much got stretchered out, and within 2 hours they said he was having surgery already.
Had to. The bone was sticking out. They covered it up and took the cameras off right before blood started squirting out. So good on the cameraman. They cut away from that. That was horrible. Yeah, it really is almost Halloween because that was the grossest thing I've seen in a very long time.
That was the grossest thing I've seen since Alex Smith broke his.
Oh, his was nasty
leg
too.
a couple of years ago. And then
Yeah.
the one previous to that, the most gruesome one that I've seen was the Teddy Bridgewater one. Teddy Bridgewater's leg, the way it disformed like that when he went down was disgusting.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But the hottest topic as well with the Cowboys is, on top of that, is the ownership with Dak Prescott and not giving him a contract, with him being his 3rd year, being on that franchise tag and not getting a contract as well. A lot of people have a lot of mixed feelings about that. Obviously, Dak wanted a lot of money, so that played into a big factor of everything.
Too much money.
We always know that Jerry Jones is stingy about those kind of things and has always picked and choose on who he's given his money to and signed on certain people. But a lot of people are fuming at Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones for not giving Dak a contract, and now seeing this injury and not knowing if Dak's going to come back or not, or let alone be the same or play in the league again, depending on how everything goes. It was a successful surgery, but you never know what can come of that injury, let alone being able to play again. So unfortunately, that's out there as well. He's obviously a free agent after this year, so depending how he recovers, hopefully he recovers very well and back to 100%. But that's going to play a big factor on his future and his signing and his future with the Cowboys. Lamb, obviously you're a Cowboys fan. What do you think about everything regarding Dak, his future, and how everything's going to go about that?
So I've always hated Dak Prescott.
There we go, chat. Another
gonna,
10-minute
wow.
hate chat.
No, I'm just gonna say that. But you remember,
you should have known
remember,
he cleared his voice twice.
Last week, for the first time, I said it's time to pay Dak Prescott.
It was.
You did.
He deserved
I
to be
said
paid.
that last week. Dude,
You did.
There's nothing else he could have done to win that freaking game. The defense kept giving it up.
Oh,
giving it
by
up,
far.
giving it up. There was nothing else that he could do. This whole time, I've been against giving him a contract up until last week. Because I told my brother, when he said, "Oh man, it's going to be a bad year for the Cowboys because Dak didn't get his money," and I said, "It'll be a bad year for the Cowboys if Tank Lawrence doesn't," because I still think the best thing that we had was Tank Lawrence. When he was getting 15, 14 sacks a season, we were way better, right? When Dak Prescott first came in, I thought it was too soon for him to come in. I would have liked to give Tony Romo a chance with Ezekiel Elliott. Didn't happen, whatever. So I've been hating Dak since then, right? So last week I finally said it's time that we pay Dak. So being a businessman myself, the smartest thing that's ever happened is not giving Dak Prescott money, because if they had given him what he wanted, close to $40 million, that would be money in the toilet that we can't use to free up other contracts or sign other players, because he would be out 4 to 6 months, which we know is an estimate and can take way longer to recover from something like that. I had a high ankle sprain and I barely feel like I'm 90%, and it's month 3 right now. And that's with no surgery required. But once again, I'm not a millionaire with the best doctors available to man. But I'll tell you what I don't want. I don't want this, and the big, sports mothership is already doing this and trying to make Jerry Jones out to be a bad guy and say he's got to do the right thing, blah, blah, blah. What is the right thing if you're the owner of a football team and you want to be a successful football team? Is it to pay a guy who just might not ever play football again and give him a 30-something million contract? Like, are you trying to do right by him? Because what is the franchise tag for next season? 35 million, 36 million?
Yeah,
He got franchise
like
tag?
$6 from last year.
Yeah, so first of all, can we stop acting like Dak is making $25,000 a year and has 3 mouths to feed? Like, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the greed. I know this is crazy and it's a wild tangent, and I believe talent should be paid for their talent, but I'm not going to be upset if Dak doesn't get a $32 million contract per year, especially after this injury, and we don't know how he's going to be. All right? I'm just not. Now, as a, if I was in his shoes, I'd be horrified, because I'd be like, you bastards, you won. I caved and agreed to play, and I risked my injury. Who was it that got carted off the field in Seattle and threw both middle fingers to Pete Carroll?
Bobby Wagner.
Seattle.
Yep. No.
No, it was
Earl Thomas.
Earl Thomas. Because remember, he wanted to hold out too.
Yeah.
But came back and then got
Ended up
injured.
tearing his ACL.
Yep.
Flipped
correct.
everybody off going off to the field, went to the Ravens. Ended up having his issues with the Ravens, getting released, and now he's somewhere else. And I can't remember who he's with now.
So I think Dak Prescott deserves his money, but the way the NFL contracts work, It's not I'm going to pay you for what you've done for me. That's not how it works. It's I'm going to pay you for what I believe you're going to do for us. All right? Patrick Mahomes did not get paid for winning a Super Bowl. He got paid because over the next 10 years they're going to be a Super Bowl contender every single year. Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, they get their money because they make their teams instantly a Super Bowl contender no matter. And let's not act like the Seattle Seahawks have had great defenses, because they've had one great defense and it got them to the Super Bowl and they won. And after that split off, they've had some of the worst defense I've seen. They have good tacklers, but let's not act like they have a solid defense. And neither do the Kansas City Chiefs either, by the way, which we found out again. But if you're the owner of a football team, you have to pay your quarterback for what you believe he's going to be able to do. They both took a gamble. They both flipped the coin. Jerry Jones flipped the coin, and Dak Prescott flipped the coin. Dak Prescott said tails never fails, and he was wrong on that. So my heart does go out to him, because Dak didn't just put his football career in jeopardy. Didn't he just lose his mom and his brother as well, or something like that? Did he have family members that passed away all this same year in 2020 as well?
His brother passed away earlier this year.
So the guy's had a very hard year. So my heart goes out to him. I pray for him. I do believe, and this is Dak Prescott, and he's a Dallas Cowboy. So I believe he's going to recover from that and come back just as healthy. I just think he needs to play a little bit more safe. But I don't like that tackle, though. I don't like tacklers who have to grab onto you and then just go dead weight down to the bottom of the ground, because that's why the whole horse collar thing was invented. But anyway, I also don't want to act like Dak's, making $50,000 a year with the promise of making millions. Like, the guy's still set for the rest of his life, the rest of his kid's life, the rest of everything. I'm sad not because of the money issue. I'm sad because Dak Prescott loves being the quarterback of the Dallas Football Cowboys, and now he can no longer do that for right now. That's what I'm sad about.
Fair enough. Not too
Come
bad.
on, hiatus. Come on, hiatus.
I think you gave a good point. Now, I have to play devil's advocate, because on the other side, we have to understand that at the end of the day, this is a business. And I know that most people, especially with the fact that this is a contract year for Dak, and it's like, yo, he did everything. I'm glad you said he did everything, because he also signed that agreement that he would take that tag. He could have done like Le'Veon Bell and opted out and demanded that they gave him the money. Now I understand why he didn't. He didn't want to risk, losing his position, but that's kind of the reason why you have to look out for you.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's a business. They're looking out for their best interests. And so once you can no longer perform, they're done with you and they're on to the next thing.
Yep.
See, what he should have learned from his experience when Dak Prescott came to the Dallas Cowboys, who was the quarterback?
Tony Romo. And guess who was hurt all
How-
the time?
And
Tony Romo.
how many times did Tony Romo try to get the Cowboys? He did everything. Hurt. He fought through injury. And as soon as they could draft a better quarterback, Tony Romo was out. Dak Prescott was in. And so you should have seen it from how they treated the previous quarterback.
Yep.
The only quarterback that has ever gotten any type of respect, honor from the Cowboys organization was Troy Aikman.
Yes.
And he's the one who didn't do it himself. So that's crazy.
I'm just saying, we ain't talking about that. We're talking about
That's
respect.
just, it makes me nauseous, bro.
I know,
That makes me
but
nauseous.
the only quarterback that has gotten respect from the Cowboys organization is Troy Aikman. So coming into that, his friends, his family, his agent should have seen the handwriting on the wall and said, yo, I know that you love this team, but you better get your money, because if anything happens to you, they're going to cut ties and run.
Yep. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Unfortunately, Dak won't be back with the Cowboys, and he's going to end up in free agency. And like we were just talking about, hopefully he ended up getting healthy again, back to 100%, or as close to 100% as possible that he can get. And
I mean, we
hopefully
literally
get another
just
job.
literally just seen this happen with Cam Newton. Cam Newton has
Yep.
been plagued with injuries, and they got rid of Cam Newton, tried to make it seem like it was a mutual decision when it really was.
It was
The
not.
Panthers was like, "We're done with you, goodbye," and they brought in the next quarterback, and
Yep.
that's just the business side of things. Now, it's a good thing that at the time that this happened, Newton wasn't hurt, so he could actually go out, look for another team, and actually play.
Right.
But if he was still injured, he wouldn't even be in the league right
No,
now.
He wouldn't even. Nope. He wouldn't even be a backup right now, honestly.
I'm going to tell y'all exactly what's going to happen with Dak Prescott. I know this Cowboys organization better than anyone, and I fancy myself as a businessman as well. And this is what Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones should do. All right? Because you have to also, what's good for business is also saving face. You cannot kick this guy straight to the curb and do nothing and just easily replace him like that. You can't, because then you'll lose your own fans. You can't do that.
Happen, though.
Right? No, what's going to happen is Dak Prescott is going to recover, and we are going to re-sign him for way less than he wanted, and he will be the starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys for a few years. Because remember, Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, they don't give a crap about a Super Bowl. They give a crap about the business. And what's best for business is keeping the most beloved Dallas Cowboy on your roster. And remember, Dak Prescott is not only that, but this is the guy who can easily become the whole face of the entire NFL. The guy comes out, he salutes the flag, he doesn't get in trouble off, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't do anything wrong. He doesn't do anything wrong, and he's got that lovable kind of face. They're going to sign him for way less because they're not going to let him go somewhere. He's still going to be a franchise quarterback.
Do you remember Tony Romo?
Yeah.
Do you remember Terrell? That's my quarterback.
Yep.
That's my quarterback. Do you remember that?
Did Tony Romo get injured on his throwing
collarbone,
on his shoulder? Did Dak Prescott
thing.
suffer anything that's for his upper body to throw the ball?
Right. But here's the thing. The way that Prescott was loved, Romo was loved just as well. Ooh. They love Romo.
No, sir.
They love Romo in the Cowboys. They talk crap about him, but most diehard Cowboy fans were still on Romo, even until they were about to kick him out.
Yep.
Lies. Say another lie on stream, bro.
Hey,
say another lie
not
on
a
stream.
lie at all.
Let me tell you something.
Every time I saw a Cowboys
bro.
fan, it was a Romo's jersey.
Exactly. Thank you. Why is he acting brand new? See, you bought into the lie.
Texas. I'm
you
from
bought
Texas.
into the lie. Now all of a sudden y'all got Dak Prescott.
I'm not
now all
from
of a sudden
Boston.
I don't remember
I'm
Tony
not
Romo.
Florida. I'm from Texas. Y'all from Boston.
God.
Y'all from Florida.
I'm not from Boston.
How you gonna tell me?
Hold up.
How you gonna tell me most diehard Dallas Cowboy fan? Bro, I've been in this. I live in this, bro.
Alpha male. Are we speaking to Lamb or Lamont? I need to know.
You speaking to a Dallas Cowboys diehard since birth who's from Texas. You ain't gonna tell me most diehard Cowboy fans.
All I'm saying is
most
everywhere I turn, these diehard fans were loving them some Romo. That may not have been the case for you.
No. I do like Romo. Romo is the most hated Dallas Cowboy quarterback among fans. Now, Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones and Tony Romo are like family. Okay?
Choke-mo.
They're like family. They're like family. But no, most diehard Cowboys fans, they blame Romo for everything, bro. Like, it doesn't matter how bad the defense was.
It was a love-hate relationship, but that was y'all guy.
See, but Dak doesn't get blamed for everything. That's how I know he's beloved.
I get it. All I'm saying is when you see the treatment that they've given to the quarterbacks, you just got to go based off of the history. And I understand what you're saying. That would be the great scenario. Even if they didn't bring Dak back and they said, you know what, you put in the years, let's just give you a stimulus package and send you on your way. You know what I
Jerry
mean?
Jones
Like,
ain't doing that. That's
no,
not good for business.
what I'm saying
You gotta
is
work.
right, but what I'm saying is not necessarily that you're going to put money in his pocket, but take care of the medical expenses. Make sure that he gets what he needs to get him up and going, even if you're not going to continue with him, and then let him go about his way. Take care of your people that are still your people until they're no longer yours.
Right.
He's been taken care of. Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboys, and the NFL made you a rich man. Grow up, get over the injury, and come back to play football. Alex Smith did it. Tony Romo did it. Cam Newton did it. Get up. You're strong. You're young. Your body can recover, and let's play some football. That's what I'm going to say. You can do it. Dak, because I know you're watching this. I know you're in this stream right now. You can do it, Dak. You can do it. If Alex Smith could do it, you could do it, bro.
I'm dead.
I believe in you, Dak. You can do it.
In him, bro.
If Lamb
I'm so dead.
Lamont told you can do it, you can do it.
Both.
I believe in
Yeah,
you.
it wasn't Lamb, it was Lamont.
But yeah, man, like that's my only take on it. You know, like I said, I agree, and I can't speak for the diehards. I'm not in Texas, as Lamb said. That's true. So I don't know what the day-to-day conversations are. I just know what I've seen from the franchise, because what we have to understand and what we realize is that the Dallas Cowboys at one point was America's favorite team. Like, that was our football team. It's not anymore. Stop.
No,
don't kid yourself. It's not.
Who's
it
America's
hasn't been.
team?
It has. We don't have one. It has not been that. It has not been that way.
No,
it hasn't
bro.
been that way since like 90. What was it? 96, 97,
96,
somewhere in there.
97, yeah.
It's
right before the Broncos won the Super Bowl.
Right. It's been a while.
Kansas is.
This is the reason why. This is the reason why you do not hear. Because remember, every commercial talked about America's favorite football team. That was Dallas. That mantra is gone. If you find a kid now, and I'm not talking about specifically
any team that has America. You can't run a commercial like that. Times change, y'all. You can't run the same ads. Come on now. It's 2020. You can't run, here's an American flag. The American flag is one of the most hated symbols right now. You can't even do that. It's not even popular to say you're America's team right now.
So let's go back 10 years. Let's go back 10 years. No one still was saying that Dallas was America's team. And this has been, even sports announcers, analysts have brought this same conversation up. We used to embrace the Cowboys, and they just were that good. But that fell off once Dallas stopped winning.
Yep.
That went straight out the window. Now, most of, like yourself, they still, because it never got denounced. But no, if you ask anyone anywhere, well, who's America's favorite team? They won't say the Dallas Cowboys.
If they won't say any team, then it's by default the previous. Okay.
You know what? I'm out of here. Like,
hiatus.
Lamont is gonna try to win this debate, bro.
If you are the fantasy football champ, if you are the fantasy football champ in your league,
go ahead.
If you're the fantasy football champ in your league, and y'all never have another fantasy football ever again, no one ever asks who's the champ. Who's the champ? Even if it's been 10 years.
I was the last champ, but I am not the reigning champ.
You are, if you've never been dethroned, you are the reigning champ. You retired as the champ, sir.
Right, but if it's no longer around, it doesn't matter anymore.
Oh my gosh. Chat, they won't give me any valid points. They won't give me any valid points. They can't
you can't say by default just because at one time they were America's favorite team, and because they didn't announce that a new team took over, that they're always going to be America's favorite team. No,
I didn't say always.
When
a new champ is named for that, that's when a new champ is named for that.
Well,
If
guess what? You
Melby
said
wins a 1v1 men's tournament league as the champion, and in 10 years later, there's never been another named champion, who is the reigning, defending champion? It's Melby.
Sir, you're going around it. I literally just said that you're saying that the Dallas Cowboys are still America's favorite team because you never were denounced. True?
Because the title's never been handed over to anybody else.
Right, but that's like all that you guys have to hang on to is the fact that they didn't physically tell you guys
Correct.
that you were no longer America's favorite team, but
Correct.
they
I'll
don't
take that.
consider you
Pittsburgh
America's
could've taken
favorite
it after
team.
that.
Right,
The Patriots
like-
could have taken it after that.
Like, you know what I mean? Just like,
Oh, Highness, I'll take that
like,
shallow win.
no matter how much they talked about New England, no matter how much they said
cheated
Brady
too
was
much.
the GOAT,
Nope, they cheated too much to ever be considered.
even when they cheated, guess what? They still was embraced and loved. Nobody
Dude,
took their chips
what?
away.
The Patriots are the most hated franchise in the NFL history.
By who?
Yeah,
Melby.
right? By who?
Don't people hate on your Patriots, Melby?
No,
All the
Hate
time.
because I
on-
see just as
hate
many
on
Patriots
and
fans
hate
here in
is two
Colorado as I
different
did in
things.
Maine.
Oh, man, y'all are out of touch.
I'm serious
Winzilla.
because, like, bro,
I'm calling out
I
the voice
mean,
of reason.
we will always talk about the fact of the Patriots cheating and all that type stuff, but what the Patriots did, they will not take away their accolades. They will not question Tom Brady. They will not question those teams and what they were able to accomplish. They will still consider them champions.
That's not even a part of it. We're talking about America's team, and you said they've been embraced. If you Google
They were
who's the most
embraced.
hated NFL franchise, Patriots shows up. Google it right now.
They
Yup.
were embraced. Just because they were found out later that they were cheating,
Bro,
I'm just stating
The
fact
most hated NFL
way,
team
of
cannot
the
be
way
embraced.
of the way that we went.
I embrace
Because
it.
the Patriots,
Thank you, man.
the Patriots were that team. Like,
they've
what is
never
he
been
talking
embraced.
about?
They've
they
never
were,
been embraced,
They were
bro.
just
They-
like
no.
just like we embraced New Orleans when they had the storm down there and they
Yeah.
won their chip. We embraced New Orleans.
Without
New Orleans
cheating.
was the mantra. We don't know if they cheated. Nobody questioned them. Nobody questioned whether or not they could have possibly, like, Sean Payton could have been out there with a camera. We don't know, but I mean, nobody's gonna question
Yeah.
it because of the situation
Wynn's
that
right.
happened.
They had the bounty back then.
Yeah, but is a bounty program saying go out and hit the quarterback super hard, even if it gets you a penalty, that's different than let's deflate footballs, let's spy on practices. Those are two different things, right? That's like trials
They
saying let's all run mountaintop
Yeah.
or let's
Literally, yeah. Let's
activate
go
our
out and
aimbot.
injure everybody.
You know what I mean? Like that's trials. That's like saying let's all put on mountaintop.
You're right. You know what, Lamb?
Which is
You're
a weapon in the
Listen,
game.
Lamb. You know what? You're right. You know the Cowboys have never cheated. They've always been, you know,
We're talking
the
about
mantra
the Patriots.
the mantra of greatness,
We're
and
talking about the
they've
Patriots.
always
Oh, see,
shown
no. Hiatus,
to
you
be
throw it.
respectful
I'm giving hiatus
to the
bro.
league. You know, they've never done anything wrong that we would even consider them doing anything wrong. They've been the picture
Hiatus
of
flipped the whole 180 at
perfection.
Lamont.
of perfection, and that's why we should definitely start embracing Dallas again.
Nobody said that either.
Like,
Who said that?
like,
Who's
come
saying
on,
these
bro.
things? Melby?
Come on, bro.
Who's saying
Come
that?
on, bro.
Who
You-
said the Cowboys
Like,
have never cheated?
listen,
Who said we should
listen,
start embracing the Cowboys as America's
listen.
team? Who
We're-
said
all
those
I'm
things?
all I'm saying is I've
Who said
watched the eras. We talk about eras. I've watched the eras. I've watched how they've embraced. I don't care what the internet says about Patriots being hated. There are more Patriots jerseys that pop up. Let the Patriots
There's
go.
so
Let
many
the
Patriots
Patriots go
jerseys that I see
to
around.
the Super Bowl and see what jerseys are being repped. They will rep the heck out of the Patriots because they love Tom Brady. Tom Brady was their Superman. Say I'm lying.
The current number one jersey is Tua Tagovailoa.
Oh my lord. You mean number 1,000 in the league?
Yeah, the top selling. We have all this information online. We don't need to talk just to talk. The New England Patriots are the most hated NFL franchise, period.
Oh,
And the
yeah,
number one
I already
selling
knew that.
jersey
This
of
man,
2020 is
listen. All I
Tua
know is
Tagovailoa.
The
let the
number one
Patriots go.
jersey is
Let the
not
Patriots
Tua.
go to. Let the Patriots go to the Super Bowl and see what Patriots jerseys get brought out. What Patriots jerseys be bought out. Like,
Bringing out
bro,
my Randy Moss or Corey
they
Dillon.
go absolutely
Ooh.
crazy.
Yeah, Cam Newton is number 2.
Thank
Cam
you,
Newton.
Kevin. Thank you.
Woo.
They
Cam
go
Newton, Patrick Mahomes,
absolutely.
Lamar Jackson. Yeah, Cam
They
Newton's
go
way up there.
absolutely crazy for them cats, bro. And I mean, it's not just them. You know, there was the 49ers almost made it back, but this was post all of what took place with Kaepernick. Back when they loved Kaepernick, you know, when he came in and they thought he was going to be that guy, and then all of that happened, and then it was like, all right, get him out. Like, we've seen eras like, all right, whatever. Go ahead.
Oh man, that's funny.
As soon as you Google it, the first thing that comes up, it says Tua Vailoa's number
Don't
one Aqua
even
jersey.
go there.
Currently
Kevin's a
number one
diehard
He's talking.
Dolphins
on the league's
fan.
Listen,
list of
he's
highest sold
talking.
jerseys.
He's talking about individual jersey that were bought. We're not talking about
This year.
individual
Yeah,
jerseys.
when
What I'm talking
Zilla
about.
posted that it's Brady, Cam
What?
Newton, and Mahomes is 1, 2, 3.
Google it. Just type in NFL's top. See, Win didn't click on the first result. He went to the
my
second result.
God.
It's all you gotta do is Google it.
Oh my
This year,
gosh.
2020,
Listen.
It says the Aqua Tua Tagovailoa is number one. Oh, see, you talk about NFLshop.com. You talk about the one website.
Yeah.
You're not talking about as a whole. You talk about a specific website, bro. How many of you have bought your NBA jerseys from NBA.com? Let's be real.
Almost everybody.
What? You never bought a jersey from Foot Locker, Foot
No.
Action, the Ball? What are you talking about?
Not at all.
No, I haven't. Yeah, wow.
Well, I mean, I haven't bought a jersey since like middle school. So
I
understand. I
I
understand
mean,
that point.
ain't nobody
NFL
out
shop,
wearing
MLB
jerseys, man,
shop,
but,
NBA.com.
okay. I
That's
feel you.
all that matters.
I feel you, because I ain't bought a jersey since
Yeah,
like
That's
seventh
all
grade.
that matters.
Yeah.
Man, going into tonight's game chat, the Titans beat the shit out of the Buffalo Bills. Like, there
Yep.
ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like,
Yeah.
they
Hey,
just
did
straight
y'all-
walked in there
Do
and
y'all remember
beat the
who
crap
said
out
that
of
would
us.
happen as soon as the Buffalo Bills played a real football team?
He did.
He did.
He
He
did.
did.
He did. I won't take that away from him.
But-
See, when you're right, I'm with you.
That's facts.
But when I'm wrong, I need you to be with me too, hiatus.
No, I gotta call you out when you're wrong.
Well, hey, the good thing is that probably won't ever happen, bro.
Oh
I've
my
been-
gosh.
What have
This
I been
guy-
wrong about?
My Lord.
This guy.
What have I been
Here we
wrong
go.
It's a
about?
matter of opinion.
What have I been? Well, yeah, opinions
That's
is opinions.
crazy.
But if I say the Chiefs on the power rankings aren't going to be number one because they're lacking defense, and then they're not, that's a fact. If I say as soon as the Buffalo Bills play a real football team, they're going to get destroyed, and the Tennessee Titans will be their first test, and that happens, that's a fact. We can talk about
It's
opinions
a fact
all
now
day.
because they won.
Right.
Correct. The only bad thing is about all the nonsense we talked about earlier is that there'll be no way to ever prove any of that stuff.
We're
You
getting...
know what? You know what? That's fine because I'm gonna write a letter to this president and ask him to deem a new football team as America's favorite team.
Do
Hey,
it.
And
We need
that'll
to put a
the
petition
end.
out.
That'll
Let's
put
do
an
it.
end to all this conversation.
Hey, if
I don't
it's
know
Trump,
who he'll
he's
pick.
gonna say the Dallas Cowboys because they don't kneel. Just because of
I-
that.
I
Just-
don't know who he will pick, especially in this climate.
Yeah,
But,
true that.
Right.
True that.
but
True that.
I mean, we'll see what happens.
Oh man, we're getting closer, chat. To
Thank you, Winzilla, for
The-
saying that the Patriots are the most hated football
I
team.
knew
Appreciate
it. I already knew that.
that. Hiatus didn't know it. This is the
You
first
need to
time
let
Hiatus
that
is here.
you need to let that hate out. No, I already knew the fact of that, bro. I already knew how people felt about it, but I'm just saying
Right.
Stream.
before they found out that they were cheating, they were embracing the Patriots. The
Yep.
Patriots were becoming America's favorite team. Then they found out, oh, this happened. Then it was like, oh, they're cheaters. Then there was the
after
upcry.
the 07 football team of Randy Moss and the undefeated team fell apart is when everything started to fall apart for the Patriots, and that's when we started dwindling down from it becoming that.
Whenever a team is as most dominant, whenever a team or a player is that dominant as Bill Belichick and whatever Patriots he had, because he had them coming and going. Whenever your franchise or your players are that dominant, you're always going to be the most.
Brady learned his cheating from.
You know what I mean? That's why LeBron
I want to find out.
Is the most hated NBA player too.
I want to find out if Coach Pop ever cheated, because I feel like he has.
I don't think he has.
Technically,
I feel like he has.
Load management is a form of cheating. I think
technically.
And I'm from San Antonio, bro, and I think that's a form of cheating. Resting all your players so they're 100% in the playoff. It's smart, but I think it's like three peaking in trials.
Win actually
makes
really a very
illegal,
good point. Patrick Beverly is the most hated NBA player in the league.
You're right.
Yes.
Patrick Beverly. I can't stand Patrick Beverly.
Okay, LeBron's got to be number 2.
I can't stand Patrick. Yeah, Patrick Beverly is by far the hated most NBA player.
Right.
He really
what up,
listen, one thing about Patrick Beverly is he talks so much, but he can't back up what he be talking. And that's the part that's annoying. Because he did all that talking, all that he was making fun during the playoffs, and you got bounced out.
Yep, super quick.
Like, what? Bro, you can't do all of that and then get bounced out, and you were up 3-1?
Literally.
Jeez, bro.
Yeah, who does that? I get knocked out in the first or second round, and I'm talking trash about players in the finals. Like,
exactly, right?
Get out
like,
of here,
what is wrong with you?
Oh, man.
Wenzilla, what you talking about, man? Hiatus is a counter. Melby is a counter. I'm all out here alone, bro. I'm out here alone.
Wow.
No, Lamb isn't out there alone. Lamont.
Yeah, Lamont's out there on a whole nother world.
Bro. I'm speaking legitness. Y'all talking crazy, bro. Legitness.
Wow.
Legitness, bro.
Listen.
I'm gonna make a shirt that says Lamb equals legitness.
We can all go in and Google stuff, but we understand that anything that is online can be altered and or docked. So you have to know from what you've seen through experience, because the facts are not always in black and white. That's all I'm gonna say.
True.
So I can Google all day, but that doesn't necessarily mean that those are the facts. Because, I mean, according to the poll, Trump won, but then we all know that there was tampering that took place in the voting. So
there's also tampering in every single election since the dawn of elections.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's the thing. Like, if we look at it, the facts are he won, but it was tampered just like every other election.
Yeah.
So did he really win? We don't really know. It is what it is.
Big facts.
I mean, but we also have the eye test. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But you don't want to hear Lamb. Stop contradicting yourself.
No.
Please stop contradicting
yourself. I'm going back to what Wynn said about all the KD love. You gonna look at Kevin Durant and say he's not a top 2, the second best player in the NBA in the world?
He said the KD love.
Yeah.
Look,
yeah. He's talking about Kevin Durant. Are you gonna tell me that Kevin Durant is not the second best player in the NBA?
You have to commend Kevin Durant on his play. Like, I don't care if you don't like Kevin Durant personally. That dude plays ball. Yes. He's the only person that I've seen that I know for a fact is not afraid of LeBron James on offense or defense.
No fear, baby.
I can say that without a doubt.
And you can see it in his face too.
I've seen him elevate his game in order for him to one up LeBron James in a game. Now, I can't say that about any other team that LeBron has ever played. They either shrink in the moment or they have a couple good games and then they're out.
Right.
It is very rare that you see someone step up to the plate.
You can almost give Jimmy Butler that consideration in this past series. But other than that,
I did. He played 2 games,
yeah. But yeah,
and then he was out.
you said a couple of games.
And then he was out. I did. I gave him consideration.
Yo,
What did
so
I
I
say
mean,
about?
we can
Hey,
give him small
last stream.
consideration.
What did I say about minutes? I said
Yeah.
minutes are gonna catch up to Jimmy Butler.
Listen,
He played too many minutes, bro. The
He
entire
did.
games. And I said, I know how the human body works. Personal trainer, former nurse. It doesn't matter how young you are, how much juice they give you in the locker room, your body cannot hang up. He's going to start
Listen.
going out there. You saw Melby, he was already slowing down. His body was sore. He can't go out there and get 40 points and another triple-double. That's not
Yep.
going to happen. And LeBron's been saving himself, dishing the ball out to everybody on his team. And so now he's
that
like, time
man
to
is
show
smart.
out.
That
Yup.
man is smart.
IQ
You don't
smart.
listen. The reason that this man has been in the league for 17, going on 18, because it's actually 18 because of how long the season lasted.
Right.
But the reason that he has been at the top of the game is because he doesn't waste energy just for whatever reason.
Yeah.
He always manages the game and says, okay, is this a game where I'm going to have to play hard in the fourth quarter? If that's the case, I'm not playing hard for the first 3 quarters.
Right.
There's no reason for me to overexert myself and then I'm good for nothing come the fourth quarter when you need me the most. Or is this a game where I have to play, first and second quarter and just go crazy and let my team bring it home in the fourth? Like,
Right.
we've never had a player that thinks, all right, what do I need to give my energy to in order for us to be successful? Everybody just goes out and play ball because that's what you're taught. You just go out there and you just play. You just play. Yeah, well, if you just go out there and you just play and you exert all that energy, all the miles,
It's gonna catch up with you.
it's going to catch up to you,
Yep.
and you're going to have a quick exit.
Yeah,
And that's what we've been seeing.
slows down.
And so
LeBron's up
everybody's
there
been
in
making
age.
exactly,
He can
but
get as many
he
hair plants
has
as he wants, but he's up there.
but he has not slowed down, and it's because he's been able to modify the game.
Yeah.
Because technically, if you go back to 07 and you look at how he played, even when he was with Miami, and you look at how he was playing, he doesn't play the same way.
No.
He's
Not
not
at
as
all.
aggressive,
He
but
doesn't
he's
exert himself on
modified.
defense like
Exactly.
he used to either.
He's modified the game so that it fits him. And so we still look at him and go, wow, he's great.
AD
But
played
honestly,
defense. LeBron.
honestly, he's just modifying the game so that it makes it look like he's still at the top.
Exactly.
And everybody goes around with it. It's the games where they push the tempo and they make them run, and then you start seeing him gas and start shaking his head because he can't keep that level. Like, you got to make that man run.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you
Run
want to
laps.
see the wear and tear. Otherwise, he's gonna modify the game, and he's gonna get you up out of there.
Yep.
Yep.
And we've seen
Agreed.
it time and time again.
Yep.
So we got...
going back to that, let's not discredit KD because that man does play hard, and he has proven himself. He is proven. I don't like the fact that he had to go to Golden State to get his championships, but guess what? He's a 2-time champion. He's a 2-time Finals MVP, and I got to show respect and love the same way that I would show it to LeBron. Got to show it to KD because he did earn it. It is not easy to go into a team that is already prepared, that doesn't necessarily need you, and be the best player on the floor.
Fact.
That's not easy.
No, it's not.
And he did it twice. Just saying.
So we got the trade deadline moving up pretty quick in the NFL too, guys. One of the biggest trending things, Le'Veon Bell got released today by the Jets. Had altercations with the team after Sunday's game. So he's now been released as about 2 hours ago. Sam Darnold is also trending to be traded. They're trying to figure out if they can get a number one draft pick back for him or not, but it's not looking like they're going to. It's looking like, if anything, a very low end first round pick to a high end second round pick that they'll get for him. But Sam Darnold's on the trading block as well. AJ Green, for the second time this year, is being linked with the Patriots to be traded to the Patriots as well. Very disgruntled wide receiver. Apparently, he was seen talking about just saying he wanted to just trade me after the game. He was pretty much just done and fed up. He
Get me out of here.
Does not want to be in Cincinnati no more.
So speaking to that, it's becoming a trend in Cincinnati that most players get disgruntled and say they want out, because the last one was Dylan, and he was like, "Get me up out of here!
Get me up out of here!
Where I go,
I don't care where I go." And look what happened to his career. Went to the Patriots and ended up being one of the best running backs in Patriots history.
This is true. So more to come on that story once they trade him to the Patriots, most likely.
It's most likely going to end up happening. We have a history with trading with Cincinnati. Ocho Cinco, Corey Dillon we were just talking about, possibility of AJ Green now. So it's most likely bound to happen. It's the second time it's popped up this year.
Man, the Patriots, they need to pick up Le'Veon Bell and AJ Green and go get a damn championship this year. Y'all got the offensive line.
I do not want Le'Veon Bell. Jeez. That dude is an issue.
An issue with what?
His mindset.
What's wrong with his mindset?
He want that money.
Yeah, exactly.
No, bro. You cannot draft a player. You cannot trade for a player like Le'Veon Bell or pick him up off of free agency and not give him an offensive line.
That dude is not worth it. It's not worth it.
Now, we say that, but it depends on who's looking.
Don't
be surprised.
No, not even that.
If you see it.
Name a running back who can run and be successful without an offensive line. Besides Barry Sanders, who's not playing anymore.
I was going to say.
Because that's the only one I can think of.
Currently playing?
Anybody playing. Anyone playing.
He plays for the #1 flag football team, and I think that.
Let me go ahead and give you this guy then, Christian McCaffrey.
No.
Are you kidding me?
Without an offensive line?
He doesn't have an offensive line.
The Panthers, all they have is an offensive line and running game. That's all they've ever had. They don't invest in anything else.
We don't.
They don't invest.
We
invest
had
in
a
DBs,
defense, and we allowed it to go to nothing.
They don't invest.
That's why their quarterback was running for their life the entire time.
No, he was running for his life because Bridgewater really isn't the passer. He's more of a run first, pass second. So yeah.
And then last year with the quarterback situation, that's why Christian McCaffrey had the ball in his hand 90% of the time.
Carolina's a rushing football team. That's who they are.
That's why Christian McCaffrey was the #1 receiving back and was number 3 in receptions to all wide receivers as well.
Name another good player on the Carolina Panthers.
Please do. Help me. Please. My life was shattered in the offseason.
Exactly. Hey, Melby, who's been winning all these New Orleans Saints games? Because I think his name rhymes with Kamara.
Oh my God!
Right? When Michael Thomas is out, you go to your best player over and over and over, and that's what you do when you have Christian McCaffrey and nobody else. That's what you do.
Look what happened to Christian McCaffrey. He's out for 6 weeks.
Yep.
And I called that at the beginning of the season.
What they.
He got his money. He good.
That happened because they wanted to use him versus Cam, and they decided that once they figured out that he would be okay as long as they got a decent quarterback, they didn't need Cam Newton no more. And so now
Cam Newton's too expensive.
Now they're looking back like
Cam Newton for nothing.
But
we should have kept him.
Resign a Super Bowl quarterback and a former MVP.
You can't.
That's money. Y'all can't afford that and keep Christian McCaffrey. Just like I had said, y'all realize y'all don't need a running quarterback like Cam, and you can find one for a whole lot less than what you pay an NFL MVP and Super Bowl quarterback for, and just let Christian McCaffrey run it out.
This is true. That's what they were trying to do.
That's why he got hurt.
It didn't work.
Yep. And they're still winning games.
Barely.
Exactly.
Barely. They had to come from behind and win this last week's game.
Get that W, because the Dallas Cowboys sure ain't.
But they're not going to win nothing in that division. Not going against the Saints and the Bucks. That's pretty much the top of the division right there. So
They'll beat Atlanta, but they are not beating the Saints and the Bucks.
I mean, who won't beat Atlanta?
Yeah, right.
They so
Bro,
dysfunctional.
yeah, true that. True
They
that.
literally done fired everybody.
Their
in Atlanta,
GM literally
like,
straight came out today and said,
But-
"Yeah,
Exactly.
Matt Ryan's not the future."
But Julio Jones in the game is a different story out of 5 weeks. I'm just saying. That's a different story. They gave
True.
a free win to the Dallas Cowboys in week 1, then Julio Jones goes out with an injury. That's a different
Calvin
season.
Ridley.
That season is a quick and easy 5-0 if Julio
No, it's
Jones is
not.
in there. Are they getting blown out by 30 or 40 points?
No, but their defense is
Probably
terrible,
not.
so it's a possibility.
So is the Seattle Seahawks. Their defense is horrible too. But they
Yeah,
have a
but for
DK
this week-
Metcalf and
for
they
this
have a
week,
Tyler Lockett.
Lamb.
Doesn't
For this
stop
week,
the
we're
offense
not.
on the opposite side from putting up points.
For this week, we're not talking about
Seattle doesn't have
Seattle.
these-
We're not talking about Seattle because they got a gift. They've had enough.
Yeah, they got a
Yeah,
Right?
Literally
we're
got
not.
a
We're not
gift. I
talking.
can't
We're
believe
not
the
talking
outcome of
about
that
them
game still.
because nobody in football history would have pulled what happened on this Sunday. I'm sitting there and my
Except for
mouth
the Philadelphia
is,
Eagles.
my mouth is literally on the ground because
Yeah.
I'm like, what are y'all doing? Are you serious?
Just
Bro,
give you
Do
the
you
ball back.
honestly think that
He
he
Googled,
with
he's
that
like,
time
good football plays.
right?
He Googled it.
And you know what's
mean-
sad? It's not like they didn't have video of Russell Wilson driving down the field in 21 seconds the week before.
I'm trying to tell you.
Like,
It made no
come
sense. It made no sense. Like literally made no sense. It was about as bad as Tom Brady not knowing what down
Oh
he was
my
on.
Lord.
It's like, what is going on in the football? Like, maybe it's due to COVID and all this stuff
No.
and not having
No.
fans. Maybe is it?
No.
You
Tom
sure?
Tom Brady, how much bong water than you would Gronk drink before the game? The fact that you have as many championships as you do, been in as many high pressure situations as you have, and you don't know
Oh
what
my
quarter it is.
gosh! Listen,
Oh,
I
Didn't
mean,
Gronk tell him-
Lord.
Didn't
Tell
Gronk
me,
tell
tell-
him you're not supposed to drink the bong water? You got to
listen,
change
listen,
it out.
listen.
Come
That-
on,
you
Tom.
can't tell me that was worse than them trying to go for it on 4th down and giving the ball back to a team and watching them. Listen, they didn't just. I got to lean into this conversation because this is how bad of a situation it is.
Almost
You
got a
kick-
fifth down
you-
out of it.
You kick a field goal, you go up 2 possessions. That means that if they even go down and score and
They
get
would have
2
to kick
points,
an onside
they
kick,
would
yeah.
still have to kick an onside kick. It's a lot that has to go right for them to win that game. No, you decide to go for it on 4 instead of kicking the field goal. And so then they get the ball back. They march down the field. They score. Now understand, now that they've scored, they're still not up yet. They have to go for a 2-point conversion. They complete a 2-point conversion and win the game.
Yeah. It feels like a Pete Rose kind of thing.
Right?
Because now I'm looking at Minnesota like, did you bet money against yourself?
Please,
You know what I mean?
because
Like,
somebody won.
Yeah,
Somebody
bro.
got paid.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I ain't never, and especially from a team like the Vikings, I ain't
The
never.
Vikings
seen
are
nothing like that, bro.
junk this year.
I ain't never.
Especially with
seen
losing Dalvin Cook.
That just like that was on a whole nother level. That was
Yeah.
on the level of freaking what's your boy J.R. Smith not knowing
Ooh.
Oh my Lord.
like
When
it was
LeBron's
on
looking at
that
him
level,
like,
bro, like
what are you doing?
exactly. It was
LeBron
just like
made
a
a fist.
meltdown. Like what are you?
He wanted to
What are you
strangle
doing?
him right there on the
Bro.
court, on tape, on
When
national
LeBron shakes
television.
his head, it's a bad feeling. I'm telling you.
Oh my gosh, bro! Like it was a bad feeling watching that game and knowing exactly. Like,
Yo,
tell me anybody that watched that game, the minute that they went for it, you're like, what are they doing? Then they
Yep.
don't get it, and then you're like, I know how this was gonna play
Bro, my
out.
mouth
Like
was
we
open the
already
whole time.
knew.
My
We
mouth was
already
open the whole time.
knew.
My mouth was open the whole time. I
And
was
then-
like, there's no way. This isn't happening.
Here's
no
the
freaking
thing.
way. You're Minnesota.
Here's
You're
the thing.
Minnesota.
After a game like that, somebody should have got fired.
oh,
Somebody
by
got
far.
paid, bro.
But nobody got fired.
No.
Y'all are literally gonna go into the next game with the same people that thought that that was a good idea. I mean, is it a joke? Is the NFL a joke at this point? Like,
Literally.
there's no way somebody has to go after that. Like, I'm sorry, you got to get out of here. I don't care if it's the offensive coach, head coach.
Man.
Somebody has to take responsibility for the fact that they called that play and bye bye. I can't risk you going into the next season like that, bro. Like, that's crazy.
That's too funny.
Oh,
Tell
my
me I'm
gosh.
lying. Tell
No,
me I'm
you're
lying.
right.
Yeah,
Hey, the Atlanta
by
Falcons,
far.
the
Bro,
Atlanta Falcons, they
that's
had enough. They were
crazy.
like, that's enough. Everybody, get out.
Exactly.
Everybody, get it out. Houston Texans, they said, we had enough. Get out.
Get out.
Get out.
Let's
Like,
see
what
it.
are you
The door's
doing?
They
right
had
there.
him escorted. They said, we'll ship your things to your house. You
It's
can't
like
even enter the facility.
Minnesota. I mean, when it comes to the team, you already know that you're not really in a position that you're going to win anything or that you're going to make a deep run. But you have a chance to beat what would be a Super Bowl contender, because everybody's looking at the Seahawks like this is going to probably be their year. They're going to make a deep run. So they're looking in that trajectory, and you have them by their neck, and then you pull that.
You could show what a good football team, a good coached, well coached, good, smart football team you are, and then you pull the dumbest thing I've seen this season so far. That's number one. That is number one.
That just floored me. I couldn't believe it. When I went back and I watched on ESPN the playback, because I just couldn't believe what I saw. And and I was like, no, this actually did happen in an actual like I'm not a professional in any regard, but even I know in that situation you go for 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
by far.
Yep.
Like, if I know that and I just watch football, you're a coach. You get paid to do this.
Yep.
What? What? This
Most
ain't college.
Yeah, for real.
What are you doing?
You're trying to pull a Chip Kelly.
Oh,
Right?
man.
Like, what are you
We're
doing?
going for it. What?
That's
Why?
You
really
know, get
nuts.
out of here. Somebody should have called the timeout and said, "Coach, this isn't smart. I refuse." Like, the quarterback has the option to call the audible. Look, kicker, listen.
We're not doing this play. We're going to pull
You're
an
gonna
Aaron
run.
Rodgers last year. We're
Right.
just going to
You're
pretend
gonna-
we're not
you're
here.
gonna
Nothing to
run.
call our own play.
Man, no. I could
Yeah.
understand if they were trying to pull them off sides, because you wanted to be able to go for it, but you don't go for it in that situation. Like, nothing about
There's
that
got to be
situation.
someone on the staff who says, wait. What's the worst that happens if we get 3 points? What's the worst case scenario? Where's the
Exactly.
rational
Someone
guy?
breaking down numbers.
Where's Mr. Science? Where's the analytics? You know what
Because
I mean?
the truth of the matter is, you kick 3, they march down. Let's say the same thing happened. You kick 3, they march down, they get a 2-point conversion. You're still up by 1.
Yep, they still
And you still have a high chance and a high possibility that you get the ball back. So you live with that.
Yep.
You what? Man. Man. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. I'm sorry. I'm talking too much about this, but that just really threw me, because I'm like, people get paid a lot of money to coach these teams, and I feel like I am not living up to my best potential, because even I could coach better than that.
Facts.
Even I know
100%,
better
right.
than to do that.
Yep.
So I
100%.
should be qualified to coach an NFL team. If you can get paid to call that play, where's the application? I want to apply. I want to
For real.
apply like tomorrow. Like, I want to apply. I want
got
your
an
job.
updated resume as of a few weeks ago. I'm ready to go.
That's funny.
And I'll take $1 million, okay?
Right?
Yeah,
For
right.
4
Look.
years. For 4 years, okay?
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
insane.
Let's just start out. See where it goes.
Yeah.
Good grief, man.
So there is a couple of key matchups this weekend, guys. This weekend's games are kind of iffy. There's really not a lot of good games this weekend that really stand out in my eye. The two actually, there's three big games that stand out of my eye. The first one being a divisional game, Cleveland at Pittsburgh. That's going to be the biggest game this week, in my opinion. Followed by the Green Bay and Tampa game. The Green Bay and Tampa game is the afternoon game. And then Monday night, even though Buffalo didn't do anything tonight and they struggle really bad, they do play Kansas City on Monday, so that should still be a decent, interesting game. Both very talented on both sides of the ball. Other than that, the biggest thing to watch for is if Jimmy Garoppolo too is going to come back for San Francisco this weekend against the Rams, with him being benched obviously during halftime. And then Chicago has been on a roll with good old Nick Foles, and they're at Carolina this weekend hiatus, so you guys got a tough matchup this weekend going against Nick Foles.
Yeah, jokes.
Hey man, they just beat Brady.
I was waiting for the punchline. Okay, you're right. You're right. I mean, but unfortunately, he's not Teddy Bridgewater's Achilles heel like he is Brady. So
facts.
I mean,
facts. Big facts. And then power rankings this week, guys. We're gonna go through power rankings. Obviously, that's changed, but the big upset of Kansas City this past week. My power rankings are completely changed. As of right now, I've got Pittsburgh at the number 3 slot, Green Bay at the number 2 slot, and then I've got Seattle at the number 1. Lamb, what's your power rankings looking like for this week?
Before I get into what my power rankings are going to be, I just want to say that this week 6 of the NFL looks like trash games.
Yeah, that's why I said there's only 3 good games in my opinion this week. Everything else is
I care about
bad.
Besides my team and the Cowboys is going to be that Monday Night Football Chiefs versus the Bills, because that honestly could be an AFC championship game. Okay,
could be.
It could be an AFC championship game.
Chiefs I still believe that the Chiefs are going to win easy. But
absolutely. Whatever. I don't even think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. But I think Josh Allen's talent is going to shock that defense of Kansas City, because I believe they have a more talented quarterback than Derek Carr. I believe Derek Carr has more talented players around him. I don't think the Bills have that speed that the Raiders have. So the Chiefs are definitely going to win that game.
Right.
But the Bills will be in that game because of Josh Allen himself looking like the AFC's Russell Wilson.
Did you not see what happened today? Let's what we need to do is take a moment of silence for Josh Norman. Because he was demoralized.
That dude took a stiff arm from a whole nother planet.
It
looked like he got pushed in the pool.
Yes. The man left his feet.
His soul is still embedded into the ground, chat.
He got pushed into a swimming pool.
There's 2 things that would demoralize a man: getting slapped in the face and getting stiff arm out of your shoes. Those 2 things are mentally hard to come back from. So I'm just saying, going into the next week, it's gonna be a thing, man. And he's their primary back. Like, just saying.
Derrick Henry's nice. And I've said it multiple weeks, chat. If anybody was to beat the Russian record, it would be Derrick Henry.
Now. I feel like we should create a meme like everyone just insert people just pushing Josh Norman.
Exactly. Because, man, he moved him like he was a piece of paper. I mean, bro. And we're talking, like, I don't think people understand how bad this is for Josh Norman. Because when Josh Norman was on the Carolina Panthers, this was when he had his best season.
Yep.
And it was because the defensive schemes were set up to put Josh Norman in the best possible spots for him to be able to get interceptions, knockdowns, and screens on the QB. He took it to the head and thought that he was way better than what he was because of the schemes that we put in, and he decided to leave. He took a big pay raise
He
going
went
to
to Washington and went.
and he was trash.
Garbage
He
trash.
was trash.
Yeah.
And so eventually they waited and they got rid of him, dumped him off. Now he's with the Bills. And for this situation to happen, oh my gosh,
He needs to
bro.
retire after this game.
Literally, like I wouldn't be upset
Yeah.
with him if he went into the huddle and was like, guys,
I
it's
gotta
been
leave.
fun, but I think I'm gonna retire.
Who was that dude
Like,
that pulled that off there last year that
he
retired
did,
at halftime?
At halftime, right?
He literally retired at halftime. Was like, all right, guys, I'm done.
Yep, I can't go. I'm done.
I
Bro,
physically
They were
can't do it
bad,
no more.
but hey,
This
he
image of
he was
Josh
being
Norman
truthful.
will always be in my head, like when Reggie Bush got hit so hard, he hit him with that baby walk, that baby crawl. Oh, burned in my brain,
Yes.
bro. Trying to do too much.
Just saying. So since we were talking about the Bills,
Oof.
I think that they just lost their primary back in coverage, which you gotta throw in quarterback that's coming to town. You need him,
Yep.
and it's gonna be hard for him to mentally get over that because
Big time.
for the rest of this
He gotta
week,
try to cover Tyreek Hill.
and don't tell me that NFL players don't be on social media. For the rest of this week,
He gonna be
he is
looking at
going
his
to be
phone.
on ESPN. He
Yeah.
is going to be on every meme because it was that embarrassing.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. But all these games, I mean, gosh, it's not going to be a real good week for good games.
It's gonna be a rough week for football, guys.
This is like one of those weeks where the trashiest game is going to be the most competitive. Like Falcons Vikings might be the most competitive game that we see.
Not really.
Which team do you think is going to dominate?
We already know how they make choices, so who knows?
The most dominant game? Baltimore gonna smack up on Philly.
Oh yeah, that's not even close, bro.
Baltimore smacking up on Philly, and then
Titans are going to roll over the Texans. Who cares about the Giants?
I don't know about that. Texans having a new coaching change and a new scheme going on around there. That's a divisional game too. So
that's exactly why they're going to lose.
No, it's going to be closer than what you think.
That's exactly why they're going to lose.
Watch Houston win that game.
I think the Packers are going to smack the Bucks.
It's going to be interesting. The Packers are coming off a bye week too.
Yeah, I think they're going to smack them.
Okay, yeah, that's going to be the best game for sure, Milby.
Yeah.
And if Devontae Adams is back and healthy as well, the Packers are definitely smacking up that game, I believe.
They don't even need him. Aaron Rodgers don't even need him. Aaron Rodgers will put me and you out there, and we'll get 4 catches for 64 yards. No TDs, though. Aaron Rodgers will put us out there, and we'll get 4 for 64. You don't need Devontae Adams, bro. But neither does Tom Brady. That's why this game is going to be so good.
So what?
As long as he remembers what down it is, he should be okay.
True. As long as he don't drink all the bong water, he should be straight.
This is true. It should be competitive.
All right. So
my
power rankings. All right. With the number 3 pick, the Lambs choose the Seattle Seahawks. They easily win that division. The only team I see giving them problems is going to be the Green Bay Packers. And don't flip out, but the Dallas Cowboys have plenty of time to put it together. And we know we're going to make the playoffs, so we're going to be in there because there's no way the Eagles or the Washington football team or the Giants are going to win the NFC East. That's just not possible. Unless Andy Dalton is ultra trash, which I don't think he is. But for number 2, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams.
What?
Whoa.
I'm telling you, I said it last week. That is a solid football team, okay? I'm looking at offensive players, defensive players, and the health of the team. Injuries as well. I'm not going to pick a team that's 4-0 but lost their primary running back. You know what I mean? because this is power rankings. I'm not gonna pick a team that's 5-0, but their number one defensive player is gone out of the game now. Like maybe out for the whole season. I can't do it. So my number 2 pick is going to be the Rams, even though they're not undefeated, because they are a solid team. Aaron Donald looks like he's going to get together. They're going to have to start double teaming him again, and that's just going to leave everybody else open to rush the quarterback. And they have some of the best corners in the league. They have Robert Woods, who's been balling out, Cooper Kupp, who was, I believe, a number 1 wide receiver last year. And they have dual threat running back in Akers and Henderson. So I think and Jared Goff, people don't really respect him. He's been to a Super Bowl. The guy throws for over 4,000 yards and like 27 touchdowns every year consecutively. Every year. Just like he throws for more yards than Big Ben Roethlisberger does every year, as a matter of fact, if you look at the stats. And number 1, we already know where I'm going with this. Numero uno, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Offense, defense, health, experience with that quarterback, championships, can play well under pressure. I'm going to go with that team as my number 1 power ranking. The battle that I had for 4th would be Tennessee Titans and Kansas City Chiefs, just so y'all know. But that's my 3. Seattle, the Rams, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Very interesting. Where are you at, Hydes?
Oh man, this is it's tough. So for number 3, because they dropped down after that loss, I didn't foresee them losing. But for number 3, I got Kansas City. Because I really thought they were going to be able to pull it out, but yeah, they don't have the defense for the amount of offense they would need.
Yep.
And that was just exposed in the game when they played against the Raiders.
When you got Henry Ruggs getting 2 receptions for 118 yards and a touchdown as a rookie.
And before Heidi's continues real quick, do you know how they beat them? It's what they noticed that the Patriots did early in the first half of the game, but then they switched it up. They stopped rushing Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes' best plays come when he's being rushed, because he will out-juke you, spin, make it to the other side, and find the open man. They all drop back into coverage.
Yep. And made him beat him with his IQ.
Yep.
And
didn't work.
That ain't happened.
Didn't work.
So yeah. So they're number 3. Number 2 for me right now is the Ravens. I do like the way that they've been balling. I do like the way that they've been playing. We'll see how it progresses. And number 1, I do have to agree with Lamb, Pittsburgh. They've been solid.
Yep.
They've been solid. And I really hate that because old coworker of mine, every year we go back and forth. She's a diehard Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and I always rock my Carolina Panthers. And I pick fun because for the last couple years, Pittsburgh has been up and down, so I've been having so much fun at the expense. But this year it's been different, so I've kind of had to eat my crow and be like, yeah, y'all good. I don't really want to talk about it, but whatever. But they've been solid. So
just as much discipline as the New England Patriots. A great head coach. They're well coached offense and defense. Their defensive picks are starting to play better. Big Ben Roethlisberger, Juju Smith-Schuster, like that offense is so open, anybody can catch a touchdown. Like it's so open, you don't know who to guard, you don't know who to double, you can't blitz them. Like I really wish that New England was doing better, because I really wanted to root for Cam post him leaving. But unfortunately, unlike the Bucks, the quarterbacks that leave Carolina don't do as well as the ones that leave the Bucks, because the ones that leave the Bucks tend to go to a Super Bowl right away. Yep.
I was hoping that they would follow that same mantra, but it doesn't look like that's going to be a thing. So
Where is Jameis Winston, by the way?
Nowheres.
nowhere's, man.
Where
He
is
is
that
on the
guy?
bench. He is in New Orleans, coming off the bench.
Mm.
And I mean, you're not going to play over Drew Brees.
Nope.
So
Nah, let's
Or
So
even, or even
right.
the other guy.
So the
What-
best thing for him, it is actually a good thing for Jameis Winston because he's so unpolished. So if he's able to humble himself, learn from Drew Brees, he'll be phenomenal. I mean, he's already a good running quarterback, but if he's able to dissect defenses like Drew Brees does, they won't be able to stop him.
Yeah.
But he has to be willing to learn
Yeah.
from those that have done it. If he doesn't learn it, he's
gonna be the same dude.
he's done.
Yep.
He will be out of the NFL before he knows it.
Yep. I
Here's
agree.
the thing I think about Jameis Winston. I'm like, I love how he has that kind of Rex Grossman. Like, I'm not afraid to just let this thing fly.
Right.
But he's also not learning from his mistakes. And I fear what his touchdown pick ratio would have been if he didn't have a Mike Evans. You know what I mean?
Mike Evans.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh.
It would
I'm
have
like,
it would have basically have been the
40 picks and
conversation.
12 touchdowns?
Right.
Like,
It would have
gosh.
been the conversation that we were having about Brett Favre. He's a gunslinger.
Oh.
You're a person that tosses it up and lets your wide receiver go get it.
Ugh,
And whenever you do that, you
300.
run the risk of throwing a lot of picks
Yep.
because not every time your receiver is going to come up with it.
Andrew Luck was headed that way too. That man could throw 3 touchdowns,
listen,
400 yards, 2 picks a game.
Let me tell you about Andrew Luck.
He was headed that way.
Don't get me started about Andrew Luck
Man.
because I do not forgive the Indianapolis Colts for what they did and how they treated Peyton Manning. Now we talked about Dak Prescott, but the way that Peyton Manning got treated in Indianapolis after everything that he did, even winning them a championship, and they basically, because of his injury, didn't wait to see if he could still go. If anything, they brought in another quarterback and kicked him out. I don't forgive them for that. So Andrew Luck being not what they thought, I don't really care. I hope it never matriculates. I hope they have horrible seasons. Like,
Yeah,
that's
the
just how I
Colts
feel.
lost that gamble. The Colts lost that gamble because Peyton Manning went out and got him a Super Bowl.
He did.
Yep.
I
So the
mean,
Colts
he
lost
did.
that battle.
We gave it to him. I remember.
Yep.
But
You did. He
we
was
did.
throwing horrible
We handed
passes.
exactly.
played-
We handed
he
it
played
to him.
Did
horrible.
nothing.
Dude,
We
he
handed it
played
to him.
awful.
The minute that I heard Cam Newton say, "I'm going against the sheriff," I was like, "Oh my gosh, you got nicknames for him now, bro? He is the enemy. He's not your
Yeah.
friend."
Ugh, feels bad.
Yeah. I kind of knew
Man.
that was the end of it, but it goes back to that conversation of the whole business aspect of it. Like, you didn't gracefully let him leave, even after all the blood, sweat, and tears that he poured into it. Like, when New York got rid of Eli Manning, we understood why.
Right.
No, we don't.
Bro,
Okay.
bro, you could say whatever you want.
Daniel Jones.
We
Daniel Jones.
we knew why.
Yo,
Daniel
we knew exactly
Jones.
why.
Daniel
That dude
Jones.
didn't deserve to play in the league no
No,
more.
yeah,
Bro.
but you got to replace him with someone better.
Oh,
I know.
yeah,
Daniel
you have no
Jones.
opportunity to when
I
you done
know.
wasted your draft picks
But-
on Saquon
but listen.
Barkley.
But listen,
What?
what?
It wasn't a
Dang.
waste, but I mean,
Oh, okay. Oh, you scared
Like,
me.
you
Yeah,
could
you
have
know.
went out and got a quarterback at that time
No,
instead of
you
being
gotta
with
get
Daniel
Saquon.
Jones.
No, you got to take Saquon when you take him. though.
But what I'm saying is that
Dude's
you know
been injury
when you
prone
look
even
when
he was
you
at
look
Penn
at
State.
his history, you
Facts.
like to do the numbers. He didn't play up to where they needed him to play, so I could understand them wanting to get rid of Eli Manning. Now, when it came to Peyton Manning, he always lived up. They were always in the playoffs. They were always in contention. As long as he was healthy, You knew what you were getting from
Yep.
Peyton Manning every
It's
season.
just you're losing against
Just
Brady every
can
year.
I
Right.
just bring up something real quick? Can I just bring up something real quick? Going back to when we were having a good old discussion about Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh,
and y'all
my
were like,
Lord.
he's been hurt for 2 years. Is that when Eli Manning basically got replaced? The 2 years where Odell Beckham was hurt,
No, it
and
wasn't.
it was, and
No.
Evan Ingram was also hurt.
No.
So Eli Manning was throwing to who? Golden Tate and who else? Sterling Shepard. I believe so. I believe that's what happened. But continue.
Odell
Oh
wasn't there
my
for Eli's
gosh.
last year.
You know what? I can't
Odell
deal
was
with
already
Lamont.
in Cleveland.
I love Lamb,
Exactly.
but I can't deal with Lamont.
So Eli did not have Odell Beckham as a wide receiver. So who was he throwing to when he had the worst seasons of his career? Because if you're
He
saying
didn't have him for 1 year.
So if you're, but he was injured the year before that. But if you're saying as a quarterback that I'm trash, but I was good when I had Julio Jones, and now I don't have Julio Jones and I'm trash, I get it. That makes sense. The same way you would say, oh, he's a trash wide receiver because he needs a great quarterback to throw to him. Then that doesn't make him that's exactly what makes him a trash wide receiver. That's how you separate very good players from great players. Odell Beckham is a very good player. I just can't call him great yet.
So
What do you mean?
that
Yeah,
more
he's been in
balanced?
the league for 7 years already.
No, that's not even it. He hasn't shown me anything outside of warming up and entertaining kids with crazy one-handed catches and winning a couple football games that way. But I mean, what have you done? When Julio Jones and Michael Thomas are in the game, they win the football games. Adam Thielen wins the football game.
Now, what football game? Minnesota sucks.
Yeah,
Oh,
they had
gosh.
that game won. Giving away the game is different. All right, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, they're winning football
Isn't it
games. They're catching those clutch balls.
I hope you're hearing my high voice.
Hey, if you have the game won and you give it away, that's different than your wide receiver not doing his job, bro.
I mean, L is
Adam
a L,
Thielen
man.
has
I
to
still
do his
gotta
job
deal
when
with
Dalvin
that,
Cook
bro.
goes out the
Hey,
game and you're the only weapon.
Hey, hiatus. You remember last week when Mike Evans missed that wide open touchdown pass that Tom Brady dropped it right in between his arms?
This is true.
That's a wide receiver throwing. Okay?
This is true, but
that is not a wide receiver winning the game. DK Metcalf wins the game.
This goes back to what you were saying about Danny Green. Check his track history, because Mike Evans is known for those type of passes. It don't matter what quarterback is throwing it to him.
But Odell Beckham is too, is what I'm saying to you.
Hey.
I'm saying he's a very good player.
So was Terrell Owens. I remember that.
Oh, after 40 years in the league, yeah, of course.
I remember that. He still thought he was the best wide receiver, and he was like, "Bro, you're just dropping everything."
Dude,
like,
he was leading the league.
I'm like, what is going on? Your hands don't work.
He wasn't just dropping; he was leading the league.
He couldn't catch anything.
He couldn't catch anything.
He was leading the league.
That's my quarterback. Yeah, well, maybe if you caught the ball.
Hey, Tony Romo was hitting that man in his hands and in his chest,
my
and
gosh.
he could not really.
I remember. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Tom Brady hit Mike
Get him
Evans.
some stickum,
bro. Tom Brady hit Mike Evans in stride. In stride. He didn't have to slow down. He didn't have to turn around. He dropped it into his arms, bro. Into your arms, bro. I don't get it. But Odell Beckham is a very good receiver. He's not great or top. Not a top 10. He's 11.
All right, we're not going back to this again.
And Eli Manning is better than Daniel Jones.
Oh,
you don't replace Eli Manning with Daniel. Are you saying Daniel Jones is better than Eli Manning?
At that point in his career, hell yes. Eli was junk at that point.
Listen. Listen.
Is Daniel
Here,
Jones
here,
better than
here.
Eli Manning?
No, no. Here was
At
my
that point in
issue.
his career,
Here was
yes.
my issue with Eli Manning. Eli Manning, I will not knock him because, again, he has 2 Super Bowl rings over what we say is prolifically the GOAT. And he has not lost to Tom Brady in the 2 times that he went to the Super Bowl. My issue with Eli Manning is game time decisions. He is horrible. He makes terrible
Yep.
decisions at game time decision.
How many
Like he
times you
makes
done see this dude
terrible,
get sacked on a
bro.
game drive?
And it's like, yo, what are you doing? Get rid of the ball.
It's either an interception or this dude's getting sack fumbled.
In 2019 in 2019 and 2018, did he have Odell?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. You realize he had a 66% completion rating, 4,299 yards, and 21 touchdowns, right?
Okay.
In 18, and only 11 picks.
Okay.
You realize the year before that he had 3,468 yards, 19 touchdowns, 13 picks,
And
still
that's
over
like middle of the
60%
league.
completion. But this is without Odell Beckham Jr. This is
Okay, it's
without a
still middle
star
of the league.
wide receiver.
All right. I'm not going back to it. We've been arguing about Odell Beckham for like 2 hours.
This is Eli Manning. We're not talking about Odell Beckham.
With Odell still in the conversation.
Exactly, but we're talking about quarterback.
What happened
play,
to
not wide
hiatus?
receiver
His
play.
sound went
No,
out.
it cut.
Okay.
Yeah, it went out on me. But yeah, that was my issue. Is he doesn't make good game time decisions, and he had a lot of help. You know, the Tiki Barbers of the world that
Tiki
were
was
able
amazing.
to
Well,
push
yeah, he's no
that
Dan
team.
Marino.
You
Yeah,
know,
I mean
so
Eli's Dan Marino. Come on now.
right, right. But that's what I'm saying. You know, there have been teams that like I always bring up the Trent Dilfer thing. Trent Dilfer was by far one of the worst quarterbacks there was, but when he went to the Ravens, because they had a prolific defense and they knew how to use him in short down situations, he got a ring. Trent Dilfer has a ring. Now think about all of the great
Smart
quarterbacks that do not have a
Right.
ring, but Trent freaking Dillweed has
Yeah.
a ring.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
Garoppolo
You
almost got one, bro.
you
Ugh.
can't take that away from him.
Flacco has one.
Exactly.
Yo, Flacco has a ring, y'all.
Yo, Flacco got a ring. Not only did Flacco get a ring, but Flacco got a max contract right after that ring, and he was terrible.
Thank you, Ray Lewis. Thank you for that ring.
So,
Ray
like,
Lewis
you
should
know,
have been in jail at that point.
he should have.
Yeah, you're right.
He retired and started preaching because he felt like he had robbed his people. That's what happened.
You right. You right.
Because, bro, he fooled all of us, man. I really, the funny thing about Joe Flacco's career is he reminded me, every time I heard Joe Flacco, I thought about the, what was it? The movie, The Replacements.
Yeah.
With Keanu Reeves.
His sound cut out again.
Oh, feels bad hiatus. That's the football gods. That's the football gods cutting in.
It's almost getting that time to wrap up. Anyway, I gotta take this dog outside here in a few.
Hey, Mia. I see you, girl.
Yes, and thank you for coming in and resubbing, Mia. You're absolutely amazing. You didn't have to do that.
Mia, I'm going to start streaming from webcam probably this week. And I want you to be there. And I want you to be nice. I know I'm not CB grade, but I need you, okay? Be nice. Be nice. Because Mia got jokes, y'all. Mia got jokes.
That's too funny. One last quick topic before we end everything, guys. And if you guys want to ask us anything, you can go right ahead before we end everything. MLB playoffs are continuing tonight. Braves beat the Dodgers to go up on that series 2-0. Clayton Kershaw sat out this game. He was a late scratch because of back spasms. And then currently the Rays are up on Houston. Actually, that game just ended. So the Rays are now currently up 3-0 on Houston in that series. Go
Good.
Tampa.
Cheaters don't deserve another shot.
Go Tampa. But the big shock is Dodgers being down 0-2. No Clayton Kershaw. He didn't play tonight. And then Atlanta beat up on him. They led pretty much that entire game.
Hey, the Astros having a meeting right now. How can we cheat to take back this series?
Yeah,
They
Rays
meeting
are
right
definitely
now.
taking that series by far. Right now, the way it's looking is going to be an Atlanta Rays series, and that's going to be an extremely good series. The Rays are built out of a lot of people that aren't really well known and making names for themselves, and it's fairly interesting to see because a lot of people didn't expect this from the Rays at all. But other than that, guys, do we have any other things that we want to touch up on before we finish up podcast, or does anybody in chat want to ask us any questions or anything before we wrap everything up?
I'm gonna
And I
say,
will say that I was
oh
one
my
of
bad.
those that didn't believe that the Rays would go that far. But it
That,
seems like Florida teams this year decided, that this was our year, and we almost did a trifecta, if you understand.
yeah,
Stanley Cup was successful.
yep.
We got the Rays right now that's running, trying to get them a pennant for the first time, and then we had
Miami,
Miami.
unfortunately, won't be in that conversation.
Flow
Right,
Rider
but they
might
definitely tried. Like, you know what I mean?
Flow
Like,
Rider might win a
Their
Grammy.
Super Bowl
crazy.
every year is beating the Patriots.
Pitbull might win a
Yeah,
Grammy.
this was true.
That's the
Pitbull
trifecta.
might, yeah, he might. I don't know, man.
Oh man, that's too funny.
But
Anything
I
else you
kind of
guys want
seen
to
the
add in or anything?
name keep creeping up, and I'm like, what's going on? Is something in the water, or was COVID just good for Florida?
Hey,
Like,
COVID was good for a lot of things, man.
I'm
I
like,
gotta say,
geez,
I hate that people died and
yeah,
everything due to this. Like, I can't stand the way everything was handled. um,
agreed.
with our country and with everything in general, and with the word just not being out, and the way our governments opened when it was too soon to open, and then it spread drastically again, and everything had to be shut down again. I think that was very stupid. Um, but all I want to see for the rest of this year is more healthy people. More people are recovering. The mortality rate is dropping. So people are still getting sick and infected, but
Right.
we don't have nearly as many deaths. So thank God for that. So I hope that all your families and y'all are safe and healthy. And right now, we just need more Americans back to work, because I have a ton of friends who cannot find a job anywhere. And I mean, even in fast food. So if you have a job and you are working, thank God every single day, because the job situation is really rough out there. So
This
be
is
happy
true.
about your job,
Big
even if
facts.
your boss is a jerk, even if your hours are jerks. Man, be happy, because I work for my state government, so I do the unemployment, the child support, the SNAP, the TANF, like the Medicaid and all
Right.
that. And there are so many people without jobs, y'all, that and I mean people with great resumes and work history, and they can't find work anyway. So thank God every day,
Rough.
if you're employed, that you have a job. And if you don't have a job, I will be praying that you will find gainful employment in this economy.
Wait, you say you do that in Texas? I ain't in
Yeah.
Texas, so you can't help me. All right, never
Yeah.
mind.
I wish I could, bro. I wish I could.
All right, guys. We're gonna wrap everything up. We had an amazing podcast today. Talked about a buttload of everything and everything. Um, we're gonna go raid. We're gonna go raid Ghost Killer. His aunt just recently passed away. He was talking about it day before in JJ's
Right.
chat. So we're
I
gonna go
think
raid
he
him,
tweeted
guys.
about it as well.
Yeah, he had
Yeah.
reached out. He was excited to see a lot of people's streams today, to get him some support and to make him feel better and everything. So we're gonna go raid Ghost Killer, guys. Please go in there, show some support. Ask him how he's doing. Make sure he's doing okay. Throw in some emotes and everything. I feel bad for the dude because it seems like his aunt really meant a lot to him, and you really don't see that from a lot of aunts or uncles or anything like that. It's normally this day and age immediate, really close family members. So
Agreed.
definitely stop in there, stick with us, show them some love. We're gonna hop over there and rate here in a few seconds. But other than that, guys, much appreciated for stopping into the podcast today with Lamb and Shady. We had a lot of fun, but we'll
Absolutely.
see you guys on episode 4 on Tuesday, or sorry, Saturday. And
Yep.
we will be back here tomorrow streaming regularly like normal, guys. So let's hop over, let's raid ghosts, let's say hi, and let's show them some love, guys. Much appreciated. Thank you.